What up, what up? What's going on? Back again. It's your brother Legend in the building. Back for another episode. As always, peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace to my family. Peace to the world. What's going on? Your brother's here. Back again. Hope you've been having a blessed Monday. Hope our sacred ancestors smiled upon you. Hope your skin is well oiled and hair is hydrated. You feel me? Hope you got some sun today. The clouds been out all day where I'm at, but I got enough sun for all of us. I can do a while. You know what I'm saying? Much love to everybody. Today we want to have a discussion, not a debate. We're going to invite some people up. We're going to grade their answers. That's what I've been doing lately. I've been grading people. This has been kind of fun. Because I've been doing this live for so long. Shout out to everybody that's been following along with me. Shout out to everybody that's been following along. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Y'all hear me? Can you hear me through the mic, though? Do y'all hear the mic, or do you just hear me? Hold on, let me see what's going on. Oh, y'all do? Okay. Appreciate you, D. So we up here. Back again. Let's get to 2K likes. I'm going to ask the moderators, even the co-hosts, make sure you don't bring them up too soon, because it does shoot down the live. We bring them up before 2K. I try to bring them up after we get to 2K likes, but appreciate you. Moderators, appreciate you. Yeah. So y'all already know what timing we on. Up here again with another live today. Kind of switched up some of the questions. Well, can anyone experience racism? We got Jeff Mead here. Because we had that other dude up here before. And he came up here mad. Some of y'all screen recorded that, man. We had Alpha Wolf up here. He came up here. He was mad. He wanted to fight. He said, "See me in the ring, bro." See me in the ring. I'm like, I ain't going in no ring, bro. I don't know what you talking about. Who says that, though? Who says that? See me in the ring. Like, I've gotten squabbles with black men many times in my life, and never has anyone told me to see them in the ring. That's funny. Anyway, are white tea people inherently racist? We can talk about it. Can black and white cultures peacefully coexist? Let's talk about it. Everybody's willing to come up here. That's right. When you see my face, hashtag Free Congo. Posted in my videos too. You know, if any of my videos show up on y'all's FYP, hashtag Free Congo. I really want that hashtag to start circulating. So, you know, I'm always going to see that as a positive, you know, something that that helps get the message out for what's going on in the Congo. I'm doing my deep dive. Some of y'all know I do deep dives. All right. I got the skills of a data analyst. When I do a deep dive, it's not like when y'all do a deep dive. Trust me. Nah, well, some of y'all lit. You know what I'm saying? But me, I'm doing a deep dive, finding out some things about some national parks in Rwanda that are used to smuggle resources out of Congo. Well, we can talk about that another time. I'm going to make a video about it in soon time, but I don't like to talk before I know all the different sides, but I have learned some things today. My goodness. Can anyone experience racism? What do y'all think? Put your answers down below. I'll talk to y'all in the comments till we get to 2K. Oh, are we at 2K? Oh, we're already at 2K, man. Somebody wants to come up, feel free. feel free, say it with your forehead. You know what I'm saying? If you feel confident enough, come on up, talk to us. It's not a debate, so we're not going to debate you, but you can have some opinions. I don't really share opinions much because we never get to the part where I get to explore my opinions. It's always I do not when we reach.
Hello?
Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
18, she, her.
And your race?
White.
All right. Go ahead and answer the questions for us. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I believe to the second question, I'm not like, can you like expand on that? Like, what do you mean, like inherently racist?
You don't know what inherently means?
No, I do, like born racist, but do you mean like actually born racist? Like it's in your genes, or do you mean like raised?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not what inherently means.
Not born?
Inherit. And this is inherently.
I mean, to be honest, if you don't know what the word means, I would have hit Google for hitting request to come up here.
Just leave. We're gonna get just.
Wait, who?
I think you're getting inherently mixed up with innately.
Who?
Can you hear me?
Who?
You're from Whoville?
Asked.
Did any of you think that was funny? I don't. That was really. Yo, they watch too much Office. You know that show, The Office, where no one's funny, but it's still supposed to be funny? They think they're in the office sometimes, and so they think their corny jokes are funny. But it wasn't. You know, like The Office, I don't know how many of y'all seen it. It's like dry wit. I don't know. Dry wit is white wit. It's dry white. It's not funny. Anyway, let's keep it rolling. Like Kelly rolling.
Shut up, hey. Why?
Hello, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Age, race, and pronouns?
38, white.
Pronouns? I don't know. Hey, where's the mods at, man? I think we got another comedian.
I think they got a call.
Okay. I don't know what's going on today. Everybody thinks that Chelsea Handler or Amy Schumer. Neither of those women are funny. They get no chuckles. Okay. It's the flea males today. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I usually say that the frosted flea males are usually more a little bit better behaved on the live at least. Usually I get the weirdos is usually the Mayflower men. For some reason today, nah, it's not the guys. The guys. All right.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
27, white, he.
All right.
So, what's up, bro? So, first of all, those bitches were tweaking, man. But anyways,
don't come up here cursing, please.
Anyways, so I think anybody can experience racism. to some aspect.
Okay. So then how come white people don't march about it?
That's in this country, man. Can't tell me white people haven't been slaves before.
In this country, then
I'm sorry?
white people in America don't experience racism. You're saying?
No, I'm saying you asked about how come white people aren't marching.
No, you took it outside the country, so I'm wondering, does that mean not in the country they don't experience racism?
Well, just because it's in the country or out of the country, racism is racism, man.
Right. So in this country, how come white people don't march because they experience so much racism?
That's a poor example because
everybody else does.
White people don't experience what black people have. So why would they march?
Because they don't experience.
That doesn't mean that people can't be racist, right?
I wasn't saying all of that. I just asked why they don't. I mean, if you can give me an example when they do, then cool, you can answer that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you're saying they experience racism, and I'm like, okay, why don't they march? You know, you could just answer the question.
Well, you made it white. The question says, can anyone experience racism? Yes, every race can experience racism. That is a fact.
I can hear you.
Hello? Okay, can y'all hear me better now?
Real crispy now.
Correct.
Yeah, see, I knew something was up. That's what I was asking. Okay, so anyway, back to what I was saying. If white people experience racism, let's keep it in the country, buddy. If white people experience racism, name one movement where white people were being oppressed by another group outside of the white community, and they had to march or, I don't know, do some type of protest, form some type of alliance.
I can't give you one because there hasn't been one.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, you're exactly right with that question, but I'm answering your question on the board that says, can anyone experience racism? How is that? How can that even be a question?
Can you give an example of how YT people experience racism?
Confusing prejudice with racism.
Hold on,
he doesn't know that
ma'am.
racism is a privilege.
Hold on. Please just
all right. Whoever's saying that, please mute, but you ain't wrong. but please mute. We ain't mad at you, but go ahead, D.
I was just going to ask him, could he give us an example of racism that YT people experience?
That white people experience?
Say that word on this app. Say YT.
Oh, okay.
You have an example of how YT people experience racism?
Anybody that judges on race on a mass amount of people is racist.
All right, give me one example where, let's say, for example, I don't know, I'll pick a random race. Black people specifically targeted someone white with no other reason, cause, except for the fact that their skin was white and was prejudiced towards them based on that alone.
There's a lot of people, man.
Because I can give you many of the other way around up until today.
Yeah, systems that are set up. So I want to understand, what is your definition of racism?
When you are judged based on your race.
That's not racism.
Well, give me the definition.
That's prejudice. That's prejudice. But
you're being
also
prejudiced if you are doing that.
Right. So how are black people doing that?
Happens all the time.
All right. Do you want to do another question, man? Because you get quiet when we ask you back.
Happens with every race.
I know, but you haven't given us one like real example. Do you want to just go on to another question?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. Do you feel like black and white cultures can fully peacefully coexist?
Yes.
And when has that ever happened?
Dude, my thing is, I grew up, okay, you know, it baffles me.
Send the pause.
It really, really baffles me that you think the way you think. I mean, you're saying that white and black people cannot coexist together?
Whoa, buddy. Hold on now. I didn't say people. Cultures. Don't make me out to be something I'm not. I mean, I would also
Well, I have to
make
know
that
what you're
argument
asking.
that we haven't peacefully coexist as people, but we have coexisted peacefully. I don't know. I don't think peacefully, but I'm talking about cultures here.
YT, like biracial marriages, kids, all of that. I mean, how do you explain that? That is coexisting.
So for hundreds of years, it was illegal for in the white community where they have power. It was illegal for black people to marry white women or white men. And so now, because they have allowed us that, I don't even want to call it a privilege, but now that they've allowed us, they've taken the chains off. We should be so grateful. And you know how you sound, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm
So
saying that
racism ended when white folks allowed us the privilege.
We can take it to, he mentioned something that I found very interesting. He said, you act as if YT people weren't slaves. And I find that interesting that every time in these conversations, they correlate slavery. So let's correlate modern day. Why is it in 2023, we have to actually fight for the laws for our children and us as adult black people to wear our natural hair styles and texture without getting fired or suspended from school or put into detentions? If we're fully coexisting as people, why do black people have to conform to European standards? And that's in 2023.
Yeah, see, I understand. Somebody's echoing, but I understand.
Please mute everybody. Go ahead.
Okay. So I understand that there is terrible laws and that it all needs reformed and all of that. I get that 100%. But that doesn't mean that white people hate black people or vice versa. Because
Hate. That's a
Think
strong
about
word.
hate, sir.
well, that's racism.
So racism is hate to you.
In
Wow.
my opinion, yes.
That is
you
a
said,
thing.
you gave a bunch of examples.
Yeah. That is a thing. That because race doesn't really affect you outside of your emotions, you think that it's only an emotional battle for us. And that's something that's common. And thank you for highlighting that on the live so that we can unpack this together. Thin Lipians, I'm telling you now, we're not worried about y'all not liking us. I'm actually very comfortable with that. It's the fact that I can't ride down my street without my heart thumping, just driving past a police officer. If I have a taillight out, I could lose my life. If I don't have my insurance card, I used to work in an insurance company. I can't tell you how many people would call in and say they didn't know their policy number. I'd be like, well, and they're in their car. I'm like, well, could you give me your policy? They don't even have their insurance card. They're driving and don't even have it. They're like, oh, I don't know. I don't have it. I can't. I'm a black man. I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine driving around without my insurance card, all my paperwork, my license valid. They don't have their license on. They don't have to think about these things. So, it's not about emotion. It's about the power that's wielded over me. What you can do with those emotions is the problem.
How familiar are you with the history of America, Tyler?
I'm pretty familiar.
So are you familiar with the Black massacres?
Yes, and
So you're
it's
familiar with
tragic and terrible.
Okay, so hold on. So you're familiar with well over 50 cities and towns that were Black owned, Black ran, that were burned down and destroyed?
You mean in like the 50s and 60s?
All over America. All over America. It wasn't just
right,
the 50s
but when?
and 60s. It's literally.
When was it?
It literally is like, I can say I'd have to go look, but it's up until 60s, but even past the 60s. But it was way prior than that, like right after slavery. So it's literally a timeline of wealth that was destroyed in this country. So you're telling me that you think it stopped at a certain period of time? Then what did it go to after they stopped covering our towns up when they destroyed them? The next thing that passed or affected Black people?
Because right after the 60s, the 70s, that's when the war on, that's when the war on drugs and everything began. That's when they start putting drugs into Black communities and destroying Black
That's
families.
terrible. Yes, I know that stuff.
Hold on.
Yes.
So
we got to let some more people into the conversation.
So then Jim Crow happens, right? And then we could talk about redlining, and we could talk about how right now, even buying a home for Black people or even selling their home becomes a whole ordeal that is very much constructed under racism. So if you understand racism, and white men particularly have ruled for well over 400 and some odd years in this country, how is it that they've had a level of power to control where I live, how I'm educated, what books are taught in and out of these schools? Even now in 2023, we're seeing certain books being pulled out of schools. Tell me how all of a sudden I can use that same power against someone that looks like you.
Hey, I got to move on to somebody else. Tyler, you can stay up if you want to talk some more, but I'm going to allow some more people to give us some of their thoughts.
All right,
Aggressive. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yes, I'm 36. I'm Black, and he, him.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
And
how are you doing today, by the way?
I'm well. How are you?
Perfect. I am also well, and I appreciate you bringing me up.
Yes, sir.
We'll start at the top and then make our way down. So at that first one, can anyone experience racism? I do believe that anyone can experience racism. It's definitely different for certain groups of people. I also make a distinction between systemic racism and then racism. So as I look at racism, just based off the definition.
All racism is a system. Do you mean institutional racism and racism? All racism is systemic.
It's a personal.
I think, yeah. Do you mean institutional racism and racism? You said you make a distinction between systemic racism. Anything with an ism, the suffix ism means a system or practice. So racism is systemic inherently.
Okay. I don't particularly see it like that. Like when I look at the definition of racism and I see prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular group.
Right. See, group. You skipped over the definition. It says it can be perpetuated by an individual, but it's based on their membership to a group.
Yes. And then it keeps going. And it says typically one. Can I finish, please? Okay, and then it says typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So, again, there are forms of racism that anybody can experience. What we experience,
but it doesn't exist on an individual level. You see, when you say that white people can experience racism because one Black person did something to another white man because he was white, that's not racism. Racism is based on membership to a group. So we're talking about how groups operate together. If since you're so Google smart, Google-ism.
I'd like to finish with what I was going for really quick, and then we can go into the ism piece of that. So if it is something that is against YT people, these people are still part of a group. And even though what they experience will be different than what we have experienced in this country, it's still a form of racism. So, like, if you were to throw a slur at a YT person, it's not going to hit the same way as when someone throws it back at us because of the history in this country.
Again, look up the word ism.
Sure. Bear with me.
ISM.
One moment, please.
That definition has changed. That's the most.
No, it's just people don't know how to read the Google definition the right way. So I don't have it in front of me to break it down. I've done it so many times before, and I just got to remember how to stick my landing when people bring up the damn Google definition. The Oxford definition, which is the definition that accurately defines it, even though that's written by a white man, no one wants to use that one, because it does say that it's part of a system because it's in the word racism. The Google definition also highlights that, but if you read it a certain way without context, it can look like one thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to think of another example.
I can definitely understand you there, bro. I got you.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell when we talk about this who uses Google as a reference versus who's read Dr. Neely Fuller's compensatory counter-racist code and I don't know, the new Jim Crow. There's so many books on racism that real anti-racists use. Google is not cited in any of those sources. So, but at the same time, even the definition that he used, if looked at with context, it makes sense. If, for example, it said typically to a marginalized or minority group or whatever he said, and some people would say, well, there's places in Africa where white people are a minority and they experience racism, but what they don't understand is the racism says typically because there are times when it is also perpetuated by the minority that holds most of the power. So racism is a system. You can't separate it from that. If racism was only systemic, right, like he says, then it would end on Friday night because institutions are closed on Saturday and Sunday. People
this is why I
forget
made
that
the
there are
distinction
such
between
things as
racism and systemic racism.
there's such things as social systems, and so in something being a social system, it exists even when there's no power, electricity, and on weekends. So it exists within society, and it exists as a system. So I think we individualize things to try to make people feel comfortable. It's weird.
We realize we're the only group that does that too.
Yeah. I mean, we do whatever they tell us. My wife is here. Jess, when you got a chance, could you give me my laptop in the next room? That's the reason I'm lacking right now. Yeah, I'm lacking. People bringing up Google. I can get busy. I can get busy. I usually have my laptop next to me. Let's go to the next guest. I think he's done. Ozelot, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns? Thank you, man.
34, white, age. He, him.
All right. Thank you, Ozelot. Go ahead, give us your thoughts.
You know what? I feel kind of like a dick because I came in here before realizing like we had specific questions.
Oh.
But I mean, I guess honestly, the reason I came in here is because I had a really interesting idea from my education in genetics that kind of spits in the face of the idea of like race. And if you guys were interested in hearing of that, that's cool. But if you want to keep it to the topic of these three questions, I feel like I should probably just like bow out, and I really don't want to like fuck up your guys' lives.
Spits in the idea of race as in dismantles it, like deconstructs it in some way where it's
Yeah,
not
pretty much
real.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm curious to hear it.
Okay. So, I mean, from like a historical point of view, I understand that, like from a genetic point of view, like yeah, genetics has kind of been used as like a scope to kind of divide people a lot, especially from what I've learned in secondary and grad school. Like we even learned kind of like how some mathematics that's used in genetics like is even it's been how do you say it comes from like older academics who have used it to kind of how do you say make these ideas more pervasive about like the differences between white and black or what have you.
Like eugenics? Like
Yeah,
eugenics?
no, yeah. I wouldn't say like one to one, but like they could use those ideas to support that idea of eugenics. But the one thing that has really intrigued me since, and that's is more like a modern take on genetic diversity. Before I get into that, like, are any of y'all familiar with what's called the founder effect?
No.
Okay,
Please
like
try not to go too long though. But
okay, shit.
yeah,
Sorry.
like we're 5, like we're a
Okay.
5-year-old. Okay.
Okay. So, like the most basic founder effect. Imagine one mother and one father just emigrated from one place to another, and they founded their own society. The best example is like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where the Amish live in that area. They have a much higher propensity to have like kids that have extra digits and stuff like that, 6 fingers, 7 fingers,
That's
and
nasty.
that's simply just because like it's a small group that emigrated to an area and they stayed there, and the people that emigrated there just happen to have that genetic capacity.
You sure it ain't like mother cousin love?
Well, that has to do with it because, well, in that sense, it's related because it keeps it
all in the family.
Yeah, exactly. It keeps it more constant if you want to think of it in that way. So if you think about the opposite of the founder effect, so like instead of a small group of people immigrating to an area and staying there, the opposite of the founder effect is just a group of people not immigrating, staying in an area and just diversifying, and they just stay there for a very long period of time. Sorry, guys. Yeah, and most of us, we believe. Do we most believe in that out of Africa theory of genetics, like humans, Homo sapiens, originated from sub-Saharan Africa?
Until someone proves me otherwise.
Okay, cool. So it turns out that the most genetically diverse group of humans in the world, and this is determined by like single nucleotide polymorphisms.
It's in Africa, I know.
Yeah, sub-Saharan Africans. And to me that kind of just blew my mind because it's like, genetics for so long has been kind of a tool to like separate people, but at the same time it's just, a group of quote unquote black people in Africa are actually the most genetically diverse in the world. So it's like it just goes to show, to me at least from my perspective, genetics has nothing to do with race, and race has nothing to do with quote unquote diversity, yeah, it just reaffirms to me that race is a social thing. It's not a scientific or in this case, it's not a genetic thing. Of course, that's all I had to say.
Tap the screen. We're trying to
Well,
get 10K to get the chat back on. Tap the screen.
yeah, y'all got. Oh man, we had 10K. Damn, we should have been way past there by now. But yeah, we speak on that quite often on this live. I'm not going to play devil's advocate with you right now, but when you tell that to a racist, they find ways to dismiss that. But yeah, we know. Thanks for sharing that. We definitely know that because that genetic diversity is proof that, like you said, out of Africa, wherever there's the most genetic diversity, obviously that's where we come from. So, you know.
Can I ask,
that's
do you feel like, I'm sorry, they're like Ozzy, I can't only see half of it. When you said what you said, do you feel like, how I want to say this word, do you feel like minorities, particularly Black people, are holding up a system that oppresses a group of people, or do you feel like it's YT people?
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you, yes.
Yeah, so I feel like that's devoid of any science or genetics. I feel like that's a social thing, and
Okay.
you know, and based
So
upon
socially,
He's a
right.
robot.
yeah. So socially, who's upholding any level of oppression?
Well, the quote unquote the white race, you know, we it's a social construct, but the white race, whatever
The
you
white
want to
race
define
is
that as.
used, yeah, as a
Exactly.
justification to
Right,
do that.
right.
So even in this conversation, when you tell people that already look at it a particular way and humanize everyone for that matter, if we don't care if you're rich, poor, in between, you come with respect, you'll easily receive it within our community. So in this conversation, how important was it to say what you said when the people in this chat already understand that, but the people that are literally holding the power of oppression and keeping it moving forward aren't hearing it?
Okay.
Yeah, she's got you there. You should definitely go on some of the Yeehaw lives and let them know because we talk about this frequent. Trust me, Black people
Yeah,
know what you just said. I'm like
for sure.
I've been told this since I was a kid. Like this, well, not since I was a kid, but when I was younger. Yeah, we talk about this in church, like how the most genetic diversity comes from the
Sure.
continent of Africa. That all people live inside of a Black woman's womb. You know, we all came from Africa. We're like we've been saying this for before
Sure.
science told us. You know.
Sure. You know, honestly, I feel like I'm kind of strung up in a knot because, like, to how do you say, to fuck, to demonstrate my idea to begin with, I have to start out by talking about race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a, I don't know, how do you say it? It's almost like a
Can you
weird catch-22 in a way. But
can you
I know what you
imagine?
guys are.
Can you
Yep.
imagine being a Black woman, walking throughout life and being told that you're less than equal because of your Blackness and your womanhood, but knowing deep down that a woman that looks just like you is the reason for all mankind? That shit blows my mind, bro.
It
Every
does.
time I
Yeah, it
look at my
does.
wife.
Yeah.
Every time I look at my wife, like she looks sub-Saharan as hell. And I just be like, a woman like you is the reason for all of this shit.
Right, right.
Yet you will be perceived by society as an object.
Right.
So that's why I do these lives, man, for them, you know.
Yeah. No, I feel like, yeah, you know, Africa is kind of like the cradle of humanity, and I feel like only a small percentage of the world, from a scientific sense, they like a small percent of people really understand that.
What do you know about the two cradle theory?
I don't know what that is. Please, I'd love to hear that.
Dr. Sheikh Anta The African Origin of Civilization. You'll have a good time there. He has a a lot of evidence to back his claims. He's a anthropologist, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. He's the one Afrocentric scholar that basically the West couldn't debunk. They tried really hard, but a lot of Western anthropologists have to qualify what he said and validate it, and then some of them are too on their high horse, but he does list his sources and footnotes. His bibliography is incredible, and a lot of it is firsthand research, and a lot of it is in museums. The two cradle theory, that there was a civilization of mankind in East Africa, along the Nile, but also in West Africa.
I don't have a pen and paper in front of me, but host, I'm probably gonna bug you later just so I can get that spelling from you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks, host.
All right, thanks for coming up. Okay, I'll go to the next person. Mags, what's good?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm well, sister. How you been?
I've been good. I'm in the middle of doing my term project right now, so I'm just taking a bit of a study break so my brain doesn't explode.
Yeah, man, I can't imagine. Well, go ahead and talk to us. Yeah.
But I'll reintroduce myself.
Yeah, please.
My name is Mags. I'm 19. I'm almost 20. My birthday's in 2 days. I'm Black. Pronouns. I use any pronouns, but I prefer they, them. Can anyone experience racism? No. If we're talking like a colloquial definition of like not liking someone for their race or their attachment to their race, I guess so. But like we gotta look deeper than that. Racism is a system that is specifically structured to lift a certain group of people up and oppress other people. And so we can't look at hundreds of years of histories and then go off like a colloquial definition, So no, not anyone can experience racism. Are white people inherently racist? I think so. I feel like it depends on the culture you grew up in, maybe. I also think that living in a culture that upholds white supremacy can make, people of different races, not just simply white people. It can ingrain those ideas in you, but I do definitely think that it has a specific hold on YT people. I think you can grow up as a person of color and still have racism to unpack within yourself, whether it's within your own race or for other races, but it definitely is a different story when we're talking about YT people. Can Black and white cultures peacefully coexist? It depends on if we're talking about a culture of a specific nationality, or if we're using the idea of quote unquote white culture as we see it in North America. I don't think white culture is a thing in that aspect. I do think that, if you have a friend who is, has immigrated here from a European country and y'all love to share your cultures together and talk about it and engage in each other's, cultural practices in a way of like showing love and respect, I do think that that's a thing, and I do think that's possible, but white culture as we view it in a North American ideal state, I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you for that word. I'll give, the claps
I think
mean...
we get held up on the idea of like a white culture that I don't think is actually a thing. I think that if white people want to engage in their own cultures, trace your shit back, learn where you come from, learn the folklore, all of the different things of the culture of places you may have come from, because it is probably not going to be the same as the white culture we uphold in North America.
Yeah, there are cultures with white people that were curators of that culture, for lack of a better word, but those cultures are not white culture. Like
100%.
And
I use myself as a bit of an example because I'm biracial. I have a white parent, but my mom, our whole family is Irish, tracing it all the way back. So more than anything, we try to coexist with the Irish culture part in a way of when different Irish like old holidays come around, we learn about that. We talk about that when it comes to a different kind of holiday. We got my black grandmama in the kitchen cooking, telling us stories, telling us about practices. So I think when it comes to coexist like that, that's a different story than, white culture as we view it in
Right.
America.
Yeah, white mama being in the house with black folks ain't nothing new. We can
It's
do
not
that.
nothing new, 100%.
But
It's a good.
that ain't the culture peacefully coexisting, And as far as what you said about racism, I want to read back because someone had brought up the Google definition of racism earlier.
Yep.
And so it says prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. Now, when we talk about black people doing things to white people, even if they say they do it because they're white, it is not because of their membership to a particular group. It is because of a context that group has perpetuated onto our people. That context being 400 years of oppression. I have never, me and my people have never done anything to white people for them to look at me and say that we're thieves, we're criminals. We haven't done these things because we never stole them from their land, stole their resources. There's no African museum full of diamonds from France.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, when we're talking about racism, we got to remember that black people might operate out of bigotry. I'll give them that. Absolutely. There are people that have not healed from what was done to our people and see your whiteness as a threat and become defensive. That's not the same thing. That is retaliation, not racism. So you see what I'm saying? That's because they take that context away. Racism is purely on the basis of you being part of a group. Me being part of a group, me being black, is the reason I'm treated as a black man. And it's purely that. Because there's no retaliation needed. We haven't done anything to white people for them to want to harm us in the way that they do. That's not retaliation. You understand? So,
100%.
but yeah, I just wanted to bring that out on my live.
No, and that's good. When I use all the time when I'm talking about it, and it says racism is involving one group having the power to carry out systematic discrimination through institutional policies and practices of the society and by shaping the cultural beliefs and values that support those racist policies and practices.
Now
and I really
that sounds
really
like racism. Where the hell did you get that one? Where did you get that?
If anyone wants to talk about that, that's the
Yes, immediately.
Civil Liberties Research Center, and I think it's a really good definition because a lot of the time when we're looking at racism as specifically designed as structural, we don't always necessarily talk about, like it says, shaping the cultural beliefs and values. A lot of the time we get lost on that, and we're specifically talking about institutions, and we're specifically talking about either institutions or legislature, which is still important, but we have to also discuss how that shapes our beliefs and values in our society. And that's why I use that specific definition.
All right, Max.
Like when they're that young and intellectual, it just chef's kiss.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I've been doing my research since I was young. When you're born, especially, when you're born biracial in a place that is predominantly white, you realize you're an outsider real quick, fucking quick. And so, and basically, this is what I've been doing with my education.
That's what happens. That's what I was telling y'all. That's what I was telling y'all. Some of the Now I'm gonna get on the brothers and sisters real quick. That some of y'all, they not us because they got a white parent. Some of y'all on that weird shit. I'm telling you right now, sometimes the loudest voices be the mixed brothers and sisters because they radicalize. Sometimes you know what I'm saying? They radicalize all the way, 100%.
And that's what I'm doing with my life now. Like I'm getting a sociology degree. I intend to go through grad school and get my PhD in it. I intend to become a sociology professor so I can specifically talk on racism in an institution like that, so I can hope to shape the research that is done.
That's beautiful, sister. Appreciate you coming up.
Of
I'm gonna keep it rolling, but thank you for adding that value to the
Of course,
lives.
yeah. I'll be back eventually. I'll get back to my now. This is the time I get back to my homework and stop procrastinating.
All right.
Have a lovely
Best of
day,
luck.
y'all.
Mags.
All right. Peace.
Thanks.
I was just gonna
One
say,
love.
Have a good
what we
one.
don't realize is proximity. They get hit with it first.
Yeah, that's wild. I remember when she first came up here, we almost got into it, and then we had like a little learning moment, and then every time she come up here, she is on point. She's been doing the work. I love to see that. I love to see growth like that. Alex, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yep, my age is 28. I am a she, and I'm YT.
All right, talk to us.
All right, so can anyone experience racism? I believe they can. Are YT people inherently racist? I don't believe that to be true. And can Black and YT cultures peacefully coexist? I believe that's a possibility. I absolutely do.
When we bring people up here, sometimes I think they don't listen to the guests before them. And I would encourage everybody that's coming up next to listen to the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we'll go through this whole thing with someone before you and figure out that 2 + 2 = 4. And then you'll come up and be like, well, I believe 2 + 2 = 5. And we'll be like, damn, did you not just hear all of that stuff we just said?
No,
You know
so
what I'm saying?
I absolutely no, I
So
get what
then
you're
how do
saying.
you refute it? Like, where did
No,
you
so
come?
it's not like I wasn't listening to her. I mean,
Okay.
obviously I was muted for a reason. I
Yeah.
let her have her moment and let her, you know what I mean? Like I didn't want to,
So
it's
then
not like I
where do
wanted
you
to
find
unmute.
error in what she said? Like, where's she wrong at?
So it's more of the fact that, all right, our white people are white. I have to keep correcting myself to remind myself that I am on live. Are YT people inherently racist? No, they're not all inherently racist. Do I think that there are people out there that are absolutely racist? 100%. There's no disputing that fact. I think all of us can absolutely pick one off the street and say, yeah, there's one. Like 100%. I've run into them, I've seen them, and I've seen them in action before. It's
Do you know
happened.
what inherently means? Let me ask
Sorry.
you a better question. Do you feel
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say phrase that a little different for me.
let me ask you a better question. Do you feel like you're influenced to go buy something? Like if a new bag came out or some new shoes that you really liked or was a particular brand, do you feel like you're influenced to go get that?
No, not really.
It's called marketing.
Also,
so it is, because you'll go, even if it's makeup, if it's a hairstyle, if you see it and it's marketed towards you, that was the whole point of creating it, right?
no, I see where you're going with that. I mean, but like,
Where am I going?
well, like marketing towards somebody specifically,
Right.
or
So
yeah, no,
I'm asking
that I
you, do you
understand.
feel
Yeah.
like you're influenced to buy certain things?
Personally, no, I could see a commercial for something or an
Mm-hmm.
ad or scrolling through something, whatever it is, maybe
Mm-hmm.
scrolling on my phone. But I mean, does that mean I'm going to go online and
So
purchase it, or does that
have you ever
probably not?
subconsciously said, I want to eat this chicken salad?
It's not real. That's not really how it works with me. It's like if I need something, it's more of like if I need it, then I need it. Like
Okay, so it's like
I have to
air.
be honest.
It's
I'm
like
not that
air.
kind
You
of girl.
can't
I have
see
to be
air,
honest.
right? But you need it, right? You know it
That's all.
exists.
Yeah. Right. There
So
you
it's
go.
the same way with inherently, because subconsciously, the way that you're taught or things you see or experience can affect how you think. I am taught to hate myself. Every Black person is taught to be anti-Black. In every form of system, they're taught to think that they are the negative. Even when they do the doll test, they'll ask which doll is a good doll, which doll is the bad doll. And what doll do you think the kids always pick? The bad doll is always the Black doll. And they've recently done the test again, and it's still bad doll is the Black doll. So inherently, you're taught to be racist.
Well,
And although
don't you
you're
think
going to
that's
say,
also
and even though you're going to say, I don't think everyone can be taught, sometimes it's not overt or even covert. It's something that you just think is something that Black people do, or you feel like, oh, that's something that that group of people eats, or that group of people, a stereotype of them. Like that is literally inherently taught.
right? So
It's
and that
literally
so that's
inherently
actually what
taught.
I was going to comment on though. Like, so when you
It's
brought up the
it's
doll,
not something that your parents necessarily have to teach you. It's how society and how you move in society is teaching that, even now.
right? So and here's the thing, even what you just brought up, that whole doll test, right? Don't you think that the children who decided, okay, I'm going to pick the bad doll to be this doll, don't you think that kind of stems from what they are taught behind closed doors in their own home?
What classroom teaches that?
No, no, no.
Where's the
I
classroom?
mean closed doors in their home, like not
Closed
in
doors. Okay,
classrooms.
so you're telling me that there's a time when every white parent sits down with their child and teaches them this color, no, this color, yes. Like, when does that happen?
I I couldn't tell you.
It's
It's not like I grew up
conditioning
in
through society,
right.
and then
So
the word inherent does not mean innate. It doesn't mean it's in your DNA. It means inherently. It means it is a permanent or, hold on, I got the definition. Permanent, essential, or characteristic. So what we're talking about here, and the way that I know most, see, individualism is a value of Europe. Europeans love to just individualize themselves. That's the opposite of Africans who, we have a term called Ubuntu, which means I am who I am because of who we all are. We invented unity, no matter how much they try to divide us. But individualism is how you can navigate through all of these questions and keep your whiteness intact, because you can say, I can experience racism on an individual level. You can say, I'm not inherently racist on an individual level. There's nothing wrong with me. I've never done anything racist. And then you can say, black and white cultures can coexist because I know someone that loves a black person. So on an individual basis, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can squint all the way down, except the problem is we're talking about a social system of racism. It is a system. Like we said earlier, it is not something that closes on Friday night and starts again on Monday. I think sometimes people conflate systemic racism and institutional racism. But systemic is just a description, just it's not a mutually exclusive term. It's part of racism. Racism is naturally systemic. It needs a system to thrive. If racism was on an individual level, then I guess it wouldn't be so bad, to be honest, because we'd all just be able to wield power over each other in individual ways. But anyway, inherently to the system, as long as race as a construct exists in the way that it does, white people will always be inherently racist in that system. Do you understand that? Probably
I
not.
understand. So I
Yeah?
understand your point of view, but can you explain to me your reasoning as to
See, you see how you do your
why?
point of view, my point of view, different opinions. That's individualism. That's what you're doing again. You're making everything subjective and everything in up to the individual to just. So nothing is objective. There's no objective truth in that, and that is what you're using to defend yourself. It's a way
But
of not
I'm
being
not.
defensive, but it is defensive, because we're not
So
talking about individuals. We're talking about systems. I just read to you the definition of inherently. I'll read it again. It is essential, meaning that when are people taught to be racist? They're taught between the ages of 3 and 5, because the doll test that she just said, that's testing children at the age of 5. So between the ages of 3 and 5, most white children already know black means bad. And there's no classroom teaching them that. Because inherently, as long as the system of racism still exists, they will be taught that white means purity. White, look up the definition of white. It means purity. It means innocent. And so they begin to internalize that definition as long as racism exists. That's why it's inherent.
So here's my point though. Like we're just gonna still push the fact that it's like racism is in fact still out there. I'm not here to dispute that is still like not a thing in this country, and it's unfortunately a shame.
Well, okay, so then no, it's not a
It's a
shame.
shame.
It's an inability to actually pick up the bootstraps that they swear Black people have and actually help move the mark. So it's a level of comfort that you guys get to sit in while telling us that we shouldn't cry about it. So I find it interesting. What is your exact point that you're fighting back on if you know that racism exists and you're consciously aware of it? And you also are very aware of your privilege, because in this moment, you keep negating the realities of what Black people are experiencing only for your comfort of saying what you and how you see life out of a lens that has privilege.
She's fighting for her purity. She was told that she was pure. She's fighting to be innocent. She says that she's innocent. She cannot believe that when we're talking about race, she is presumed guilty until proven innocent.
No, I wasn't talking about me.
Well, you are, because you keep individualizing things. So when we're talking about a system, we can talk about a system. When we're talking about groups of people, then let's talk about groups of people. Stop changing things to be subjective and up to the individual and up to the anecdote of an individual.
Of course we can. I'm more than happy to talk about either groups of people, a whole system. That's fine by me. I'm not here to talk about me at all.
But you keep giving us your perception. I can give people different.
Well, I think in the beginning it was more like
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
See, my opinion.
Well,
she's not talking on facts.
Well, that was the questions that was up there. No, so
no, we're not. No, it's
like you're more focused on what you feel than the facts of the actual historical context is being said. Because even when we're sitting here talking about children, babies, that inherently they're being taught something, whether it be through systems, whether it be through education or lack thereof, they're very much showing up and they're demonizing one community. So even in understanding that these babies don't have the full knowledge to hate, they're still being taught to, in some ways, look at a particular group in a negative manner. And even if you're and you can do research on the doll test yourself, you're still saying, well, I just don't feel, well, I don't think it's a me, and not a reality.
Right. And so how exactly are they being taught these manners?
That's
exactly
what inherently plays a part in, because society,
it's inherent.
The media, the things that they see, or like I said, lack of seeing. There's plenty of YT people will say they've never been or experienced Black people, and oh my God, I always thought this. It's the stereotypes that are in the media, in the news. These things are literally picked up. You're literally being, I don't even know the word.
Willfully ignorant. Because potty training isn't inherent. And we all know how to take a shit on the toilet. Because at one point, someone had to teach your ass how to do that shit. But no one had to teach children how to be racist. By the age of 5, they already are failing the doll test. So that means it's inherent. Like that's the evidence. That's all the evidence you need. You don't have to make it subjective and try to change it around. As long as the system is in place, it is going to reach the minds of children at a young age that because they are white, they are innocent and considered good in society. And that must mean the opposite of that. Black is wrong, taboo, suspicious, dangerous. There's something, not quite right about them. If white, in order for white to exist as human, they have to be non-human. There are books on this. Doctors have wrote on it. But then we're going to, instead of dismissing decades of research and people working on it and hundreds of years of history and context, we can dismiss all of that with saying, my opinion. It's just my opinion, And it's like, I don't know.
I mean, we don't have to get into what, like, that's fine. I can continue this conversation with you. I'm just trying to, like, I'm trying to listen to both you guys. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to listen to both you guys, but then also answer at the same time.
Innately is a different thing. We're not saying if you're born in the woods, out by a wolf, you're raised by wolves. Let's say you're Tarzan. Tarzan don't know what racism is. He don't even know he's white. When you ask Tarzan, hey, white man, he's going to be like, who? You talking to me? I ain't. You see what I'm saying? That's someone that is not living under the premise of race in society every day. So he was not inherently taught. But when you ask him if he's white, he's going to say no. So that's not a white person, and that's the problem. You see white as a neutral category, a natural way of defining someone. And you define yourself as white, so that's why you're up here defending it. And so that's what I'm trying to say. Like, white is an oppressive term. This is a dangerous term. No one should be white. But here we are in society where there are white people. And once a child understands that they are white, it is inherent in society that they will be taught to be racist. And anti-racism is what really must be taught, the same way you have to learn how to take a shit on the toilet.
So would you tell like people who, or like let's just say this, for example, I guess, anyone who is biracial, would you tell them to identify as something else? Not white, not white, sorry, not YT, excuse me, I apologize. Not black. Would you just tell them to identify as something else? Or would you tell them to
It's a
identify
weird question, I'll be honest. That's
no,
a really weird question.
I'm just generally curious.
If you were generally curious, it would have came at a better moment. That was I don't know what you're trying to do there.
You just because you said just being white was just like there should be no white people, right? Like that was the words that came out of your mouth.
There should be no such thing as white.
Why
the
is that?
word, the definition, defining of people, of a human being. Not
right,
the existence.
That's a racial category. There should be no racial category. There should be no caste system of oppression. Do you understand what you see? That's the problem. You don't know what racism is because you just think.
I think you need to explain to her what you mean by that. He means instead of using white and black, say where you're from. If you're European,
there you go.
You're German,
Perfect.
You're from Germany.
No, but wait. Hold on. Who is saying that? Please don't say that. 10%. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I wish it was said. I wish that was said 500 years. You're 500 years too late to say that. So because now white people do come up here and try to say, "Oh, well, I'm Scottish. I'm not white," but the system is still in place. Disassociating yourself from whiteness is not going to remove the system. You're still racist because the system inherently sees you as white, and thus you are still a racist. You still would have to dismantle this system in order to no longer be a racist.
But they somehow still don't understand.
Hold on, because
their system is racist.
Listen,
they don't
it's not
get
just
that, and it's like that in the UK
oh my
as well.
God.
They don't understand this.
Can you hold on a second?
10%. Yeah, you're hopping on too early. I don't know who let her up here. She gonna talk over everybody.
The issue.
I love my sister, but she gonna talk over everybody. I know her.
Listen, it's bigger than saying, "Oh, it's a system," when there are people that are upholding it, that are going with it. One of the key things that I think let me make sure I say your name right. Alex said was that it's not gonna go anywhere. I mean, it is what it is almost. It's the narrative that a lot of YT people play. It's like it is what it is, but it is what it is because you're comfortable with it. Your position is not being affected. Your children are not experiencing a level of racism or oppression. So it's okay for anyone else to have to deal with it as long as it's not you.
Yeah.
That's not really how I see it. I see it as like, because once what was it, who just came on here, what was it, 10%, right? How she clarified it. So if we want that label, let's say, if we want that label to go away, we should allow it to be gone.
Fuck.
Gone.
Why did she come up here and say that shit? Because that's what they're gonna run to now.
But that's
the problem
okay,
with
brother.
that is it dismisses the system in place. You have to dismantle the system in place. You cannot, on an individual basis, decide that you are no longer going to call yourself white and racism will disappear overnight. It doesn't work that way. It is a social system. All of society would have to put it down at the same time. You would have to work as an anti-racist, not just be a non-racist. We don't need more non-racist people because silence gives consent to the oppressor. You have to be an anti-racist. You got to be against that shit. That's not saying I'm not white, I'm German is not enough. What she said was 500 years too late. That should have been said at the beginning of racism.
And so what would be your solution for now, though? That's I think that's what I'm
The solution for now is to act. All right. I see where you're going with this. You're trying to get to a solution. All right,
yeah,
cool.
right, that's all.
I
That's
like
all.
solution-based conversations as well. So I got more guests up here. So I'll give you a metaphor to help you find a solution in your own community. Understand, racism is not a black problem. And don't be surprised when black people act like it's not their problem. Racism is a white problem that affects black people. It is not our problem. Because it is not our problem, we cannot fix it. The white community has to, but they don't want to. Because they don't want to let go of their privilege, especially white women. Because if they call themselves feminists, but they really still do not want to let go of that privilege. Otherwise, they'd be marching up and down the streets at the unaliving rates by which black women black women are unalived. I'm trying to be TikTok friendly. Black women are unalived up to 6 times more likely giving birth to a child in this country. Every feminist should be mad about that and storming the hospitals, ripping papers up until this is fixed. Because if it was going on with y'all, it would be the biggest problem on earth. I'm sure we'd all be talking about it. But anyway, and it's been going on for hundreds of years to black women. Feminists don't give a damn. Anyway, here's the metaphor. You know you live next door to a weirdo. You know that he's a registered ex-offender. You know what I'm saying? Edophilia. You know what I'm saying? So, you know this guy's a weirdo. You see him bringing vans of children to his front door, and he tells you one day, hey, I'll pay you $1,000 not to say anything. You say, you know what? That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'll take that $1,000. I'm not the one doing it. Look, he's the guilty one. It's not me. It's not me. And then you see the children going down there. You hear the children screaming every night. You've seen videos of the children letting you know, hey, we're down here. Please help us, help us, help us, help us. You've seen the children marching around, telling you, hey, we need help. We need help. This guy's got us in his basement. And you just take your $1,000 a day. And you know what you decide to do? You start to get a conscience. You have a book club with some of your friends. And then you get together and you talk about, man, it's so messed up. Yeah, it's so messed up. Is he paying you $1,000 a day too? Yeah, he pays me too. Oh, well, we're all getting paid. Man, it's so messed up though. I don't know what we can do, guys. What should we do? That's how white people sound to us. We're the children in the basement. And we've let y'all know 99,000 different ways what's going on with us. And y'all still either tell us it's not going on, despite the evidence, or you say that you think that you're doing something by telling us how bad you feel and talking amongst yourselves like, oh, I don't know what to do. If you had some balls, you take a click, clack, pow, you go next door and you save those children. And that's what you would do if they were your children. That's what you would do if we looked like you. Because we've seen you do that with Ukraine. We see what's going on with some of us, some Americans supporting Israel, some supporting Palestine. Everyone gets on their gallant white horse to go running and save the day when they don't look like black people. So, you know what I'm saying? The same way y'all act when your favorite hockey team wins the Stanley Cup, the same way y'all act when your team wins the Super Bowl, how trash cans be on fire and all that other stuff, y'all need to be tearing shit up because you see what's going on with the children.
Or like January.
Like January, there you go. You see what I'm saying? Appreciate the gifts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should be making some fucking noise. But you're not. There's no white Black Lives Matter movement. There's no white people for black lives. There's 200 million of you. There's 200 million thin-lipped people in this country. Not even 50,000 of them have gotten together and marched a damn one step.
I mean, last time I checked, there was
white people
plenty of
following black people when black people put together a movement. Yes, we know. But that's what I'm saying about standing around, benefiting from the oppression of those children every day, getting your $1,000 worth of privilege and sitting around. And whenever the children are marching, you get out there and march with them. But you have not gone to the oppressor's house and dealt with him to free the children. So that's what I'm saying. Y'all can figure it out when it's y'all. Y'all figure it out pretty well. Ukrainian, y'all sent them billions of dollars. Y'all can figure it out. We have faith in you.
I listen. Whatever's going on in Ukraine, listen. That I'm not gonna comment on that because that's not where I want. I'm not
saying. Once again, you're individualizing what I just said. I don't know why you keep running to yourself. I'm not talking about your personal belief. I'm talking about. I just showed you how white people as a group have the capacity for empathy, so they can do something. So it's not that you can't do it. It's not that there's no way to figure this out.
And I agree with you. I'm saying we can, and I have. There's been people at rallies with people of color
exactly, and that's the problem.
All the time.
We know that, and that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But I want to say something to Brother Legend as well regarding Ukraine. You know, the president or prime minister, whatever he is, of Ukraine, when the war actually started with Russia, he said on the news, he said, we are not Gaza, we are not the Middle East, we are not the African people that are refugees.
Damn.
We are European whites like you, and you should be helping us. That's what he said. So imagine speaking like that.
That's what I was just telling you.
Knowing that all the doctors that are in Ukraine, most of them are African, Middle Eastern. There are Ukrainian doctors as well, but I'm saying a lot of them, educated ones, are African people. Crazy. And he's saying these things on international TV. So this is why we don't trust y'all. Do you understand? It doesn't matter if you're in America or not in America. You can be in Europe. We don't have any trust for you.
They're going to take that $1,000 a day. They're going to sit their ass down and tell you that they feel bad. And we already know that. Thank you for coming up. I got to go to my next guest. It has been too long. Appreciate you, Alex. Crazy B. Could you give us your age, race, and Crazy Bobo? Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
I'm 46. I'm white.
You sound muffled. Can you clear up your phone, possibly?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 46 and I'm white.
Pronouns?
All
right.
I want to talk about this because, you know, you guys are saying black and white. Can they coexist? Yes, they can for a fact because
you sound really muffled, man. It's really bad. I don't know. Are you talking from like 1960?
No, is that better?
Not really.
It could be my phone. Give me a minute.
Okay.
I gotta turn this off. Give me a second.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I thought that was you. I thought that was him.
While y'all are waiting
Appreciate
for the other
you,
stuff, can y'all go ahead and tap that screen? Tap the screen. Tap the screen.
Tap.
Let's get to 60K, you guys. Let's get to 60K. Tap the screen. Send the pause. What are y'all waiting on? Why are y'all torturing me and brother today? This is not right.
I mean, they do get value from it, so I hope y'all are learning something. I don't know. I'm just regurgitating the voices of the scholars up here, to be honest.
Hope Alex and people like Alex and other people learn something today as well.
I don't think Alex is going to learn shit, but I think the people in the comments might learn. No, that's all right. Now, aside from Alex can go somewhere. Between black people, we need to stop having cognitive dissonance. They're not going to help us. You
Of course
understand?
they're not.
No,
Of course they're not.
we can't expect help from the same people who oppress us.
Right.
That's the
No,
problem
no,
with us. We keep waiting
no,
around
but
for them to get it. They
and
get
this
it. They
and the funny
understand what they
thing.
are doing.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, and Chantal, I was also sorry, brother Legend and Chantal. I was also gonna say this. Even when remember when Somalia had the war in the 1990s,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them were refugees, and they were put on planes to America.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them settled in New York, in an area full of Italians, and you know Italians are racist people.
Yeah.
Why do you
Yeah.
think a lot of the Somalis and Ethiopians, Eritreans moved to Minnesota? How the hell? Imagine being put in a place full of racist Italians that are immigrants themselves,
Yeah, that's crazy.
telling you
Yeah.
you're a nigga and you're a
Oh, all
slave.
right, all right. See, 10%. You always go
Sorry,
too
sorry. I
far,
apologize.
sis. Damn, we don't
I
say that
apologize.
word on here.
I
Don't
apologize.
say that word in front of a bunch of white people.
I
We
will
on
say. I will say.
TikTok.
Not
I'm
just
Oh my
sorry.
that,
I'm
but
god.
sorry.
that was
Everybody,
the
F1 in the
AI.
comments.
Sorry.
F1 in the comments, please.
Sorry.
Yeah,
God
that
damn.
brings
All
the
right.
AI in
Cool.
here,
I
and if
won't
the
say it.
AI comes in here, it could take brothers' lives away, live streams
Oh,
away.
right.
Yeah. I'm
Appreciate
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry.
The
All right.
easiest way to do this, brother, is to just drop 10% and bring them right back up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Drop
come
me and
back
bring
up.
me back up.
All right.
I think it's Shantae. She's been waiting. She's been.
All right, yeah. Shantae, give us your age, race, and pronoun. Well, you've been up here before, I know, but give us your age, race, and pronouns, please, sister.
Yeah. Blackity black. My pronoun she her, age 42.
All right.
I think what I just want to say this before I talk to the topic. I think what white people is not understanding is that the origin of race began with them. This is why black people and anybody of color is going through everything that they're going through because
Right.
this system upholds them and is to the rest of everybody's detriment. While we inherited intergenerational trauma from our ancestors, they inherited apathy. That's why they're not getting
Ooh,
what we're
somebody know
saying.
PTSS. Okay. PTSS. Dr.
So,
Joy DeGroy. That's what she talks
yeah,
about in
I
her
mean,
book.
you know what? I'm gonna tell you something, brother.
Yeah.
You really
You
have
hear
like
Cassie?
put me
Cassie.
on to a lot of stuff. So I just want to thank you on that.
Appreciate you.
I want to speak
Hold
to
on,
the
sis.
topic.
1 second. 1 second.
Can anyone
They can't hear
experience
her.
racism?
Hold
Oh,
on. They
y'all.
can't hear
Oh,
her.
they can't hear her?
Cassie
Oh, they
echo.
can't hear her?
No. Cassie's making an echo. She to mute up. But
Oh, mute up, Cassie. Cassie. All right. Can y'all hear Shantae? Go ahead. Say something, sister.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
yes, it's clear.
Okay, they can hear you. Go ahead. You good.
Okay. I wanted to speak. Okay, so can anyone experience racism? Hell no, because I mean, white in America is a symbol for power. White supremacy exists. It has been governing since the foundation of America. So it's no escaping that. Anybody who have even a twiddle of an IQ will be able to deduce that. Are white people inherently racist? Yes. Yes, they are, and it manifests itself differently. I've even found that some of the most racist white people is the ones who try to act like us. Those be the most racist people nowadays. The ones who act like they black, like they try to act like they blacker than us or they own blackness because they're white. I don't even get that. Can black and white cultures peacefully exist? No, I don't think that black culture can exist around white culture because white culture is colonization, genocide, stealing. I mean, how can anyone live with the devil? I don't know how you can do that. If heaven is over here, you should stay over here. Just stay the hell away from them. I mean, you have to coexist with them, like working and stuff like that, but they just don't seem to get where we coming from. And they literally have had, since Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Harvey, all of these people been telling them for centuries,
Right.
what the hell is Frederick Douglass, like all these people been telling them what we've been going through, and all these years they still have not got it. So
yeah, 10%. Mute up. Hold on. Let's just
Nat Turner. Oh my
Nat
God,
Turner,
let's
though.
not
Yeah,
forget
absolutely.
him. I mean, and let's not forget the atrocity that happened to him. Like, and it's a shame that not even a lot of black people know who that is.
They ate him. They barbecued
Yeah,
him.
they eat mummies.
Yeah.
They eat mummies. Like
Right.
they go to Egypt, anywhere they find some wrapped up black people, they want to eat us. They want to make us into medicine, us anything. Like we cannot coexist with them. We have tried, and we have seen our people getting unalived by them for so long that even we have become desensitized by it. They gave us a religion that literally have turned a majority of black people into white supremacists in black bodies. That's why we really don't get along, because they gave us a religion to hate the whip, but not hate the person holding the whip.
Baby, that was.
So we very forgiving of them. We willing to overlook. We willing to overlook them, but we take out what they do to us on each other. And it's because of religion. It's because of politics. It's because they have given us this illusion that we live in a democracy.
Please stop doing it.
I told you she going. I don't know who keep bringing it up, and she going to keep talking over people.
Okay,
That's what
stop.
she do.
I'm gonna go on mute.
All right.
Like, be quiet.
Go ahead, sister, because you cooking with hot grease.
Yeah, like they we cannot, and we have to find a solution for us, because we have to now distance ourselves from these systems that they have given us. Like even in school, they are teaching our children their history as a curriculum, and we have to find out our history as an elective. Like it's right there in front of your face. It's right there in front of your face. Like everybody who is black should be mad. And black people who are mad at white people, it is not racism. And I love when people bring up prejudice. Prejudice can be a positive or negative. Racism can never be positive. It's only positive for white people because they profit off of it. But it's negative all around. So I'm tired of white people coming up here bringing that up like it's the same thing. We black people don't have no power in America. The only thing we doing is buying hair and shit. So what power do we have? We don't have no power. So we need to do something and distance ourselves, like for real. Segregation was kind of a good thing, and we should have kept it like that. That's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry that I came up here all riled up.
No, you did your
I know
thing.
everybody else want to talk. So
you did your thing. We needed that on the live. Thank you.
Point. Look up Delectable Negro. I put that in the chat when they talk about them eating us.
Delectable Negro. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep. And then I wanted to bring up Ishaka Musa Barashango. Some of y'all might not know who he is. I mentioned him earlier. If you're an ex-Christian, you know what I'm saying, or maybe you are a Christian, and you want to understand the Afrocentric viewpoint of the Bible, meaning Africa's telling of the Bible, if you want to get deep into religion and decolonize your religious beliefs, boy oh boy, his name is Ishaka Musa, Ishakamusa, Ishaka Musa Barashango, 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 Ishaka Musa Barashango. Look him up. He's one of the great scholars. Dr. John Henry Clark also has an interview with him. If you Google that name, you're gonna run across some grand teachings about religion. Man, he breaks it down like, and he don't go all into. Listen, he takes it from a historical and biblical standpoint. He don't get all into the spirit and God and all that. He takes it. He tells you from a geopolitical point of view what was going on at the time according to historical record. It gets deep, but we'll keep it going. I appreciate you, Sister Shantae, for coming up again and adding that to the live. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Who we got? Oh, Ashanti. Ashanti, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please? Thank you, Leisha.
Hello, host. I'm 20 years old. I'm black. Black. Like, I like being black. So.
All right now.
And I just go by she, her.
All right. I like you being black too. Everybody tap like in the comments. Tap like. Put hashtag free Congo, hashtag free Congo, hashtag free Haiti as well. If you got the energy in your thumbs, you want to type something. Let's type some unity. Let's show some solidarity. Free Congo, hashtag free Congo. Let the Congolese brothers and sisters see the live. Putting that there lets the algorithm know, and maybe show us to some of the brothers and sisters over there. And then as well, to keep tapping like so that y'all can protect the live as we talk about these sensitive topics on an anti-black app. And go ahead, Sister Shanti, talk to us.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go from each question down. I do not feel like anyone can just experience racism. I don't feel like nobody touched on it, but I don't know if y'all have touched on it because I was here for a little minute, but I wasn't here that long. About how it's such a systematic thing to where black people aren't just hated in America, we're also hated around the world because of the history of America. It is taught by our American education system to them to hate us. Y'all don't have that same type of hate that we get, not just in America, but also outside of America. It's only the little certain places where you can go where they educated themselves to understand that we are the Eve gene, like that man had said about all of that. It's literally just called the Eve gene. And that it's just like, it's a systematic thing. And it's not just an American systematic thing. It's a global systematic thing. It's not little, it's big.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, it's not our problem. It's not something that we can fix. It's more or less, they have to fix it themselves because we ain't do nothing wrong. We got put here against our will, first of all. Our country, not even country, our continent was taken away from us. Not just by, like y'all like to say Europeans, but y'all also got to remember, Europeans include Italy, Europeans include Britain, the Netherlands, Poland, Portugal.
And Saudi Arabia.
Saudi
Arabia. It gets deep, yeah.
It's
all the West Asians.
It's not just an American thing. So y'all gotta stop trying to think of it from just an American standpoint. We can go outside the country and still be hated. We can go outside the country and still experience racism. So I don't feel like anyone can just experience racism. That's my standpoint on that. Are white people inherently racist? Yes, because it's a systematic thing. No matter how anybody likes to describe it, if you're of a darker skin complexion or really dark, you're going to be hated regardless. But if you're of a lighter skin complexion or really, really light, you're going to be loved when you go outside the country. It's not about just being inside of this country.
Yeah.
So, yes, white people can be inherently racist. Not just white Americans, but also European American, Germans, Asians. All of them can be inherently racist to us. But that's just the way the system was built. And they literally followed that system because it benefited them more.
Right.
Think about it in the correct, educational standpoint. Like, we don't benefit from any of the hate we get. However, other races benefit from the hate we get because they don't get as much hate.
Right.
And then,
and because they participated also.
Yes.
I mean, there's not one race that has not directly participated in colonization or enslavement of our ancestors, or to this day, to be honest.
Still to this day.
To this day.
To this day.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, it's not just I be trying to stress that to people. It's not just an American thing. It's like it's a global systematic racism. It's y'all, that's what y'all not getting when you say racism. I mean it globally. Like we experience racism globally, not just locally. Yeah. You may experience racism locally, not racism. I consider it discrimination. When somebody just don't like you because of what you are, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect your standpoint in society.
Right.
It's just that person don't like you. That's on a personal level.
I call it when it's us. You're right. It is discrimination, but that discrimination is retaliation.
Yes.
That's what Dr. Neely Fuller Jr. calls it. He calls it retaliation because that gives you the proper context to understand that it's not just, oh, we decided to wake up and be mean to white people one day, like they did to us. But like they were mean, and sometimes we mean back.
And I'm gonna hit on what Shantae said, because I heard her say since America has been built, but it was actually racism was built before America was built. It was built by a European standard, not a white standard. It started with Europeans. Europeans going, oh, these people in this continent, they're less than us because they're not of this skin complexion, because they're not this skin complexion. It was a European standpoint. The way white became was when white people in America didn't want to consider themselves European anymore because they wanted to separate to keep black people oppressed. Europeans, they still wanted to keep us oppressed, but they was like, you're bringing it's not like they wanted to free us, if that makes sense. It's not like they wanted to free us, but they were concerned about how many black people they were bringing into the country because of retaliation. That was their fear, that we were going to end up retaliating. That's where that came from. So that's why when when white people say, oh, I'm not this, I'm not white, I'm this, I'm like, well, your ancestors literally went into an entire war to not be that, to not be European. Just to keep black people as slaves, just to keep Africans as slaves.
Can I say something, please?
Wait, hold on, 10%. Let her land.
Okay. And then the last question, can black and white culture coexist peacefully? I don't believe that there's a such thing as white culture. I don't believe YT people have an actual culture. Everything that consists of their culture isn't YT culture. It's European culture. It's not of a skin complexion. It's of your actual ethnicity. You're European. That is your culture. And within that European culture, there is genocide. There is hate. There is bigotry. There is ignorance. It's just so much within that culture. That's why I'm like, it's not a YT culture. It's no such thing. The reason I hate it when people say, why does black culture exist? Because black culture is actually black American culture, because a lot of the things that we do in America is because of our past experiences during slavery. We had to change some of our African ways and some of the things that we used to do and some of our old traditions and make them new. That's where black culture came from, black American culture.
Right.
That's why that exists. So I don't even feel like we can coexist with that, because you don't have a culture to coexist with us. You just want to take what is ours that you are. It's like we finally get something back and you keep trying to just take it. But then when we don't want you to take it and we retaliate, oh, we're being this, we're being that. But it's like you're upset because you actually don't have your own culture and you want to be able to have one. That's not our fault. You built your culture off of what you built it off of. And we built ours off of trying to stay positive, trying to not be evil, to just find better ways of living for ourselves, while you built it off of other people's hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and bodies and death. Like, you built yours off of just pure death, and that don't make sense to me. So I don't feel like we can coexist peacefully, because you can't coexist peacefully with something that is continuously going to want to try to kill you or kill your culture. Like, it's not something that you can coexist peacefully with.
All right.
The word unalive instead of the K word.
Oh yeah, you did use the K word quite a few times. I I didn't catch that, but appreciate you, sister. Thank you for that rundown.
Good stuff there. Grades. I forgot to hand out grades today.
Yeah. Oh, right. Grades. All right. Yeah. She gets an A. She gets an A plus. She added to the live.
So I wanted to say something real quick because someone had said something in the comments, and when I corrected it, they were like, "Why do Black people always correct my word usage?" So racial 3909, the first thing I want to say is this, love. The word blacks was actively used to oppress and is still used to oppress us to this day. Using that word, even as a Black person, continuously reaffirms and assists in strengthening the bonds of oppression on all people. So please, I am saying that word is not okay to use in any BIPOC space. That's the first thing I wanted to say on that, because I wanted everyone to hear that and know that stuff, because there's so many people thinking that you could just use words like that and it be okay. And I'm like, no, that is not okay. Yeah. The next thing is, hi, I'm Harleen on this app. Missy, if you know me in a certain way, if you know, you know. I am 25. I go by she, her today.
All right.
And
talk to us.
In order of questions, the answer is no, yes, and hell no. There is no culture for them. Like, the heck? They ain't got no damn culture. What's their culture? Conquering and hatred? Colonization?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Thinking that they actually got the best thing in the world, when in reality they got that micro shrimp. I'm making jokes about it, but I'm making a little bit of jokes, but yeah, no, they do not have a culture. You know what? I'm gonna add to this. Not only do they not have a culture, their epigenetics has actively made it to where they no longer have empathy as well. They are some non-empathetic having ass motherfuckers. I saw what I said on that. And I could give you all the sources because I have all of them already pulled up on epigenetics. What is epigenetics? That is when certain things happen to your ancestors or to your parents even, and it shuts down and it makes it to a certain genes do not actually awaken when you were made. Epigenetics has caused post-traumatic slave syndrome. Black people actively have PTSD, which means that it has been continuous trauma throughout the ages.
Multi-generational.
Multi-generational, amen. It shows a lot of what they have done to us and how it affects us to this day. Epigenetics has even shown that we have a wider field of vision because of them. We have a wider field of vision.
I didn't know that.
Epigenetics has actively not only stopped reinforcing certain genetic coding to show up, but it has actually also caused other genetic coding to show up more. That's why you see many Black people have wider fields of vision and better peripherals than other races. I also want to say this because I saw it in the comments on the word Caucasian. That is a culturally appropriated term as well. I mean, because that last part, Asian, that the people from the Caucasus Mountains are Asian. It is in the Asian region of Eurasia. For white people to say that they are Caucasian is a damn bold-faced lie. They appropriated that term because they like the way it sounded. It sounded flowery and pretty. No, it's not flowery and pretty. It's literally a set of people. If you do not practice the type of polygamy that they practice, if you do not actively have one woman having two husbands and multiple kids, if you do not actively practice their culture, you are not Caucasian.
Yeah.
You're not even Asian as well, so you shouldn't even be saying you're Caucasian. The next part I want to say is for the person that said that we're literally going to be practicing white tea culture on the 31st, honey, white tea to be white tea means that you have actively thrown away your culture for the supremacy of the ability to be seen as supreme from other races. That was actively coined by Gomes Desidara, a Portuguese white man. And I say that with my sources to be able to back me up on that. And for the person who said I sound white, honey,
man, get out of here.
I am a black woman, black and fat.
Absolutely, we love it.
Just because I have sources and I am intelligent and I am getting a degree in linguistics, which means I could talk you in circles, does not mean that I sound white. My word choices, inflection, and linguistical structure still says that I use AAVE and am a black woman. Please come correct when you come for me. Thank you very much. I don't play with people calling me white tea. My linguistical structures is on it for that. Please don't.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, sister.
Of course. And also for the person who said that Samhain is a white tea culture, it is not. That is Celtic. To say that it is a white tea culture means that you are actively culturally appropriating from a culture that is literally still here. It is still active to this day. You still see Celtic priests. And not just that, but y'all literally are cultural appropriating from yourselves. Y'all see how wild that shit is?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let that go.
It's funny to me how they take group responsibility for culture and things that they think are good, but when we talk about white people as a whole, in other more disgusting parts of what they've done, they individualize themselves immediately. My ancestors didn't own slaves. What are you talking about? It's like, but y'all will say that Columbus discovered America and that was y'all, right? Y'all made it to the moon, right? Y'all invented the iPhone, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all say, they'll take credit for things like that they think are good, right? Like Albert Einstein. You know what I'm saying? But then when we mention, Robert E. Lee, when we start talking about Schmittler, they oh no, he was German. He wasn't one of us. No, he was German. It's funny. Anyway.
Okay, so can I speak now?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Go ahead. 10%.
Okay.
Then we'll come to Ray.
I wanted to say to everybody, I'm so proud of you guys, but I wanted to say this. These people have a deeper hatred for us. It's not just about black and white. It's deeper than that. It goes way past slavery times. If you think about the Roman times, the emperors were Ethiopian, Congolese. A lot of these people hate the fact that we have history. The fact that, first of all, I'm gonna let it be known. I'm from the Horn of Africa. Yeah? My mom's Somali, my dad's Eritrean. They're both Muslims, right? But they became Muslims over time. Obviously, their ancestors did. But before that, God knows what they were, right? But I figured it out. I already know what they were before that. They believed in Wakafina, which is another religion that is a monotheistic religion where they only believe in one God. That's the same God that Tutankhamun believed in. So when ancient Egyptians say that the Horn of Africa was the cradle of Egypt, the hieroglyphics don't lie. Do you understand? These people, these Arabs, want to come into my country and change everything and say, no, that's not what happened. Listen, this is what they told us. This is what my mom, listen, this is what my grandmother always says to this day. She don't like Arabs at all.
Okay,
Yeah?
be careful.
She don't like them. My grandmother is a Somali to the core. She don't like Arabs. You know what she said? She said, these people want to take us away from our culture. They want to introduce their religion and take us away from their culture. They want to wipe away our culture by saying, oh, the pharaohs were demons. They were bad people. Don't worship first of all, we never worship the pharaohs. We only worship one God, Ebe. We call him Ebe. Yeah.
Amun.
Wah is the sky gods. Wah is something else. Horus, Nur, and all these other, and Ayane, all these other beings, and Isis.
Right.
These were beings that lived on earth. Just say, for example, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus was a living human being, but he had a godly spirit, right? That's the same thing. We didn't worship to Horus or the other the other ancient Egyptian beings, but what we did was we understood that God existed. We always knew about God, and we always said Ebe. But these people took that away from us, and they said, no. The Quran says worshipping this is haram, so you can't do it anymore. But guess what they did, though? They took over our land in Egypt, because you know Eritrea.
That wasn't haram.
Because you know Ethiopia, Eritrea, Egypt, Sudan is all linked together.
Yeah, that's not haram. Haram is
but listen
haram
to what
allows
they
them
did.
to take what they
Listen to
want,
what
but
they
you
did.
yeah.
They came and took over our country because the Romans at that time, by the way, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm going to be very honest with you, brother. Yeah? At that time, when the Romans came, the Romans were already mixed race themselves. But they were already, you know what I'm saying? This is tribal war. It wasn't even about color.
Yeah, I know.
But they took over Egypt.
John Henry Clark talks about all this.
When they took over Egypt, a lot of Egyptians went down south.
Yep.
You understand? So this is the problem that we have. And now these Arabs are claiming our history.
You are veering off topic,
They're claiming it. They're saying those are their people. It is not their people. They're lying. Yeah. These are African mummies.
Yeah,
Black
we know.
People.
We know. You in the right place. We know.
No, exactly. And there's and guess what? And there's another our brother legend. I will put you onto another Somalian woman on TikTok and Instagram as well. She will tell you as well. There's a whole area where they will not allow black people to go into. Why? Because you will see your own faces on the hieroglyphics. They will not allow black people to go into a certain area in Egypt.
Only black people?
This is serious.
They won't allow only black people to go in?
They won't allow any black individual that is from wherever you're from, West Africa, East Africa, the Horn of Africa. You're not allowed to go into that certain area if you are from those areas. You will not. And you are black. We are at the end of the day, Horn of Africans, we are black. Of course. Yeah. We know who we are. We know where we come from. We know our language. But let me tell you this. These people are so invested. If the obsession with the black people is beyond just America. I'm telling you.
I know 10%, but 10%. We gotta.
They are obsessed with us.
We at the same time 10%, ma'am. We need you to land your plane to allow other people on the panel to talk.
I landed. I'm so emotional.
Land your plane. Already, get to your point respectfully. Yeah, there's people waiting to get a chance to talk. You are monologuing. We appreciate you, Kesh. You need to stay muted. We appreciate what you're saying. Some people are saying some of the things you're saying is questionable, but you're monologuing, and we have to allow other people to speak on the panel. We know you. We know you.
All right.
But listen, let's get somebody else to speak. Land your plane if you want to say your final thoughts, and we need to move on, man.
Okay, I think she's done. All right, Ray. What's going on? It's your turn.
Yo, what's the word?
Peace.
Peace to you. Peace to the panel. I'm gonna get right to it. Can anyone experience racism? No, no one can. By definition, racism is a belief that different races practice and possess characteristics, abilities, and qualities, especially that distinguish them as inferior or superior. So you think about that belief and you think about the system. If a system is built on a belief that white tea people or palm colored people are superior and that everyone else is inferior and blacks are at the bottom of that, if that system is in place based off that belief, then that system can only function correctly on that belief, which means that if you were to put, let's say, a African person inside of that system and try to put them at the top, it would probably compute error in that system, or it probably would not function correctly because it's only built off of a specific belief of a specific group of people being superior. This goes to the justice system. This goes to the policing system. This goes to our schooling system. This goes to our healthcare system. Even if you look at our welfare system, the idea of a welfare queen is specific to the black woman.
Right.
That these systems in place are put together or were formed off this specific belief. Therefore, the system can only run off of the premise that it believes that palm-colored people are superior. So you cannot, when you talk about an ism, the ism is the system, right?
Right.
Put it this way. I cannot make a palm-colored person feel oppressed. I cannot make them feel oppressed. When you talk about racism, right, it's the act of actually oppressing someone. So we feel oppression. We actually feel it. We receive it as a collective, as a community. That's what makes it an ism, that the system can make you feel it. If I cannot make anyone feel it, then therefore the act of me trying to be racist is nullified. And are white people inherently racist? Yes, because they've been socialized and conditioned through white supremacy and their culture to believe that they are superior, right? If you live within a system that is trying to condition you, that is trying to, it only works in a way where you are going to be the person who is succeeding, then therefore you're going to inherently think that you are superior. You're going to believe that I am succeeding in all of these systems. That means that everyone else must not be working as hard as me. That's why people always ask, well, I did it, why can't you? Right? They ask that question because if I am in a system that is made for me and I am succeeding inside the system and I see everyone else failing in the system that is made for me, and I'm going to believe that everyone else is worse off than me, that everyone else is not on my level. So therefore, they are socialized even consciously and subconsciously to look at it that way, right? They're socialized to look and have a certain viewpoint of if it doesn't work for you, then you're the problem. And that in itself is inherently racist, right? Because you're the problem, not me. That's inherently racist in itself. And then can black and white cultures peacefully coexist? The answer is no, because
Can I just know what you mean by black culture? I just want to know.
Well, when you talk about black culture, specifically African American culture, culture that was specifically made when you talk about our music, when you talk about our language, when you talk about our practice and customs, the same way that Jamaicans have culture, the same way Belizeans have culture, everybody in the African diaspora outside of the continent, wherever they were dropped off, started to form their own language, their own music.
African culture is more than just music.
That's why I said language. I said
10%. Let him land his plane. Ma'am, stop doing that. Let him land his plane.
No,
finish what you're saying. She keep doing this, bro. Let him land his plane.
I want to have a dialogue.
I got you, but let him finish and respond after he's done. Say something after he's done. You can't interject and interrupting like that. Come on. Why you keep doing that?
African American culture consists more on music. I said language. We have customs and practices. We have holidays, et cetera, right? Like for African American culture is the food that we cook, right? It's the AAV that we speak, right? It's the Juneteenth that we celebrated before it was actually a formal holiday, right? It's how we, even right now, in African American, we still shout out and treat Malcolm X's birthday as if it's a holiday. We say that Malcolm X's birthday should be a holiday. Like we really believe like that's a tradition and a custom that we have, right? Martin Luther King, we made that an actual holiday. Like these are things when you talk about a jump in the broom. These are traditions and customs that were made specifically by African Americans. Soul food. When you talk about wild collard greens, there were literally vegetation here that people did not know was actual vegetation. That we was like, yeah, this vegetation, we good at agriculture. We know this is edible. Like that is a part of African American culture when you talk about just outside of music, right?
Okay,
So when you
can
talk
African
about
American culture be with African culture as well? Can we
It's
both
not
come
separate.
together?
It's not separate. See, that's where you made
I
a
don't want it
mistake.
to be separate. I
No,
want it
no.
to
Let
be
me
together.
hold on. That's where you made a mistake, Ray. Because you said African American is black. But you got to remember that in the diaspora,
right.
Africans are
I'm
also
thinking,
black.
yeah, right.
So
But
black culture, in the Pan-African sense, black culture is wherever black people exist.
whatever, yeah. When I say
Right.
okay,
So
I was speaking. I'm
yeah.
speaking in context. I should use the word African
No,
Americans. So
if this was just Americans in the room, then what you said would have been accurate. I'm just saying she's from Africa, so she's looking at it when you say African American that you're not including her, and so then it's like okay, so black culture we can replace it with African culture and say that the same way there would be no like it's like black culture and African culture is like water in the ocean. It's made of the same stuff. It's the same thing. The water is from the ocean, but we're talking about when we talk about black culture, we are talking about the ocean as well. It's the same thing.
okay.
But
So
Brother Legend
in
also,
that sense,
I'm sorry. But Brother Legend
can
also,
I
remember,
finish, man?
you
Hold
have
on.
to.
Let,
I know. I'm just gonna put my 2 cents in, and I'm gonna go on mute. Brother Legend, I just want to tell you
10%. You
this.
got like 1,000
When it
cents, not
comes
10
to
cents.
Africa,
Yo, she keep
can you
going,
listen
bro.
to
Go
me?
ahead, Miss Lady. You got a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's not
can
just
you
two.
just listen to me for a sec?
yeah.
When it comes to African culture, all I wanted to say is this. We are all one at the end of the day. I'm from East Africa. I'm not even from West Africa. But
That was the ancestors.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
y'all clipped
But
it. Oh, they
anyways,
clipped it because she had 5. All right.
man. Anyways,
I told y'all she was going to do that. As soon as y'all brought her up here, I said she going to keep cutting over people. I've been doing this for a year, and some people are my regulars. You know what I'm saying? One thing about 10%, she going to cut over everybody. She going to do it. She going to say she don't mean it, and she going to keep on doing it. She be spitting sometimes, and sometimes she be a little far off.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, when you talk about black culture as far as white culture, right? When you talk about white culture, often, or the premise of their culture is to compare themselves to other people. That's usually when you talk about white people, palm color culture, right? When you talk about the overall collective of European people, it is the comparison to how everyone else is functioning. And therefore, you cannot peacefully coexist with someone who is trying to often push you down and oppress you in order so that they can feel good in the comparison. It doesn't, it won't happen. You cannot peacefully exist when you think about the idea of race. The idea of race.
You can't say we peacefully exist, right? If I keep saying we friends, right? I keep saying me and you are friends, and then you keep saying no, we not. And I keep saying, you know what? I don't care. I don't care that you don't think we're friends. I'm your friend anyway. We're friends.
That person is not your friend, and even
right,
if that person isn't your friend. When you think about, like, it's when you talk about peacefully coexist, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I am palm colored, and my culture or this culture that I created that is called white tea, the culture is about me constantly wanting to steal resources from you, hurt your people, steal your land, like, you know what I'm saying, utilize your labor. There is no way amongst this culture, there is no way where you're going to benefit in this space. So no matter how much you want to, no matter your beliefs, the idea is what you said. If I keep calling myself your friend and you say I'm not your friend, and you keep mistreating me, no matter how much you want to be friends, you will never peacefully coexist. And I'll land my plane.
Appreciate you. He gets an A, y'all. He gets an A+. A+. Appreciate you. Thank you for the breakdown. Who we got next? Easy. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Brother, don't skip over me, man.
Oh, my bad. We so used to seeing Speak. Hold on, Easy. Hold on, y'all. Go ahead, Speak. Talk to us.
Peace, y'all. My name is Speak. I'm black. He, him. Can anyone experience racism? No. The main people, well, we are, as black people, we're the ones who experience racism by napkin people. They are inherently racist, and we know that for a fact. Question number 2, no, because what the hell is white culture? What is that? There is no defining factor. There's no definition, no nothing as to what the hell white culture is. History shows that they are animals. They
be careful.
Yeah. Y'all
be careful, man.
They destroy. They are divisive. They are dangerous people. And look at what they've done to the U.S. land. To the U.S. The U.S. exists the way it does because Europeans created how this country runs. So you see anybody that's melanated or foreign to this land outside of Native Indians or Native Americans, whatever you want to call it, you see what they do to everybody. I'm talking about Latinos. I'm talking about black people. I'm talking about any and everybody who is not from the Middle East or on the east side of the game. They treat us like dirt. So hell no, we cannot coexist with said people. And real quick, let's get to 100K likes, y'all. Y'all know me. I apply a lot of pressure in terms of likes and pushing algorithms forward. Y'all tap the screen. Everybody tap the screen. Get to 100K. And let's try to get to 50 shares. So share the live with up to 10 people. And if y'all all tapping the screen enough, you're going to see a red bar. If y'all all fill that up at least 3 times, we could get to that goal sooner than later. By the time the live ends, hopefully we are at 200,000 likes. So every 10 to 15 minutes, y'all know what y'all need to do. And I'm going to shut the hell up.
Thank you, Speak. Thank you for that rundown. Appreciate you. And everybody, please tap the screen. I got my co-hosts up here, D Diva and Speak. Also, on my profile, you'll see I have my YouTube. You can subscribe to the YouTube to get a replay of all our lives, and tap the notification bell in the top right corner of my TikTok profile to be notified whenever we go live. If you don't, send gifts, you don't tap like, if anything, tap that bell in the top right corner so that you'll know when we go live, because some of y'all be missing out, man. It gets crazy in here. Appreciate you for coming up, Ray. I'll go to Easy next. Easy, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Age is 32. Pronouns is him, he, and race is black. classify as black. And I wanted to answer some of the questions you had up for discussion. Can anyone experience racism? I'm gonna go with yes, but not to the extent of the black man and woman. So that's gonna be one. Because in history we have seen it where there's been prejudice against other race of people, but not like chattel slavery and Jim Crow America and Berlin Conference Europe. You know what I mean? So to the extent of black people, no, not to our extent.
When have black people been racist to white people?
Not black people being racist. Like,
All right, so when have white people been oppressed based on their race?
based on their race, we're gonna go back to let's go to the Romanians and back in the Ottoman Empire, and we're gonna go to the Jewish people in Germany. They were the same.
That was not race based.
I would say they're the same race, but like
They are the same race, so that was not race based.
You know what? I can't fully.
There was no such thing as race back then. What you're talking about, I know exactly what you're talking about. When the Romans would say that the northern tribes were inferior and they called them pink,
barbarians,
because they called barbarians, all that stuff. I know exactly what you're talking about. John Henry Clark talks about this, but that's not racism. It wasn't based on their race.
I mean, okay, then on the topic of race, if we have, because then we don't have the system that exists where a black man can be racist against the oppressor. That wouldn't be the same thing as a systematic oppression. But I was thinking more like the Jewish and the whites in Germany, kind of like that. But they're both white people, so I guess in race, if we're putting it to
that was ethnocide, that's they're ethno-religious group.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we're putting it strategically like that, then no. No one like the black man and woman. Are white people inherently racist? I'm going to go with no, because it's a learned behavior. I feel like right now, like the child has to grow up into that environment and they learn this. They keep this type of culture, this type of mentality going within them. So it's not something we could just give it to geology and like the way things are. They learn these type of behaviors. So I'm not going to say they inherently racist. Like genetically, they learn this from...
Inherently and innately. You got to look up the difference. Inherently does not mean innate. What you just said, born racist, is innate. And inherently...
Born racist is innate.
Uh-oh, we're echoing. Who is that? Somebody got to mute up. Oh, it's you, Easy. Easy, swipe down, swipe the menu down, and swipe back up. Swipe the menu down, swipe back up. Now come back.
My bad about that. Okay. I had a call coming.
Okay, so inherently means it's a essential part of. Hold on, I'm about to bring it back up. The definition, I got it right here. I don't know why I can't remember these. It's 3 words. Like, the definition of inherently is 3 words, but I just cannot remember these 3 words. Inherently, as a permanent, essential, or characteristic way. So, as long as white supremacy and racism exist inherently, meaning as part of a permanent part of that power structure, and essential, meaning it is essential in identifying as whiteness for that power structure to exist, that makes them racist inherently.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Inherit, because it's something you inherit from previous.
No, oh my goodness, I love us, man. You're not the first brother to say that. Inherent, and I'm sorry, inherent. Like when you inherit something,
like inheritance, yeah,
is not the same thing as inherent. Inherit is when you inherit something is passed down.
Yeah.
Inherent means essential, and innate means natural and inevitable. Like, yeah, someone said inevitable.
So, well, then that's the part I would. So you would say like, but not based on the environment, just based on like what their previous ancestors were used to. Because innate is not a word that I'm used to, but are you saying like it's just transcended down as far as like they wouldn't even have to learn the trait? It's just something that is just
If the whole world was covered in water and we was all living in the ocean,
yeah,
we would inherently be wet. The only way to get up and not be wet, you would have to get up on dry land.
Yeah.
You understand? So inherently, to you being born, you would be wet. It's not innate because innate would mean that biologically you are predetermined to be wet. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But inherently, as long as we all live in societies underwater, then you are going to be wet. And so for white folks, it's like convincing a fish that it's wet. They don't want to believe that shit.
I get
And you're like, I'm black, so I've been kicked out the water. I know the water that you were born in is wet. And inherently, you are wet.
I get that. And I definitely get that meaning. In the environment, 100%, there's things that they will become blind to. There's the way that things are. I definitely understand what you're saying with that. I just got confused with the word. The last question, can we coexist? Not in this current state that we're in. I don't think that 100%. It's just, I think there was a point where even Malcolm himself was talking about like separation and things. And I think that's still something that's needed today for our society, us as a people to fully develop into, independent society where we can actually have an advantage. I don't think we can coexist with white society. Not at this. We're not even existing. We're barely,
Afro pessimism. Yeah, we don't exist to them.
Yeah.
We weren't. I'm sorry, I'm not say create, but we weren't brought to this country to exist. We were brought to this country so that their clothes would wash themselves, their plantations would pick themselves, their horses would drive themselves. Their cars would drive themselves as well. Their children would grow themselves. Like, we weren't meant to be seen. We were just meant to just be around. Their elevators would operate themselves. So that's part of the thing. Is in order for whiteness to exist, we have to not exist, because that's the only way that they can validate that whiteness does exist, by looking at us and saying, "Hey, at least I ain't black."
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. I appreciate it, man. You gave me some clarity. I was, I was a little off with that, but definitely appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you for the gifts, y'all. All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest. Who we got? Queen. All right, Queen, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Too
please.
Real first, and then it's Queen, I believe.
Oh, Too Real? I don't know. Leisha said Queen.
Well, shit, Leisha be on top of it, so yeah, I just.
That's what I'm saying. Leisha on
Queen,
it.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Queen.
Oh, greetings, but peace.
Peace.
I am 62. What was the age?
Race, pronouns.
Okay. 62, blackity black woman.
All right. Talk to us.
So, did Easy give his pronouns and the rest? Did he?
I think people don't know what the hell pronouns are, so everyone says woman or man, and I just let them go because I don't want to sidetrack from the conversation, to be honest.
So
pronouns are he, she, and they.
Oh, okay.
So even you didn't give your pronouns.
Okay, she.
We can move on.
I didn't catch on. I was so busy being nosy because I didn't catch the race on it. It seemed to me like it was.
He said he was black.
Oh, did he? Oh, didn't seem like it. Didn't sound like it. Okay. So, no. Can anyone experience racism? No, it's the system. Are YT people inherently racist? Yes. Can black and white cultures coexist peacefully? No, I'm always at peace. But so it just reminded me we were in a live the other night and we were talking, I think it was last night, and a young lady stated that it was a YT baby and the way that they looked at her. And everybody chimed in at the same time. It was like, yes, you know that, like that experience. And I've had it not just with babies, you know, they're animals, like so I don't know how deep or when it starts or and I have children and grandchildren and I don't ever remember them looking at anyone in that way. But it's like there was theories about it given how they can communicate that through their like biofeedback or rhythms or you know what the mother is communicating to the baby, but I have experienced it. And it's like the baby just be looking startled. But I don't remember our babies doing that. Does anybody?
I don't know, Auntie. That's kind of wild. So you saying a little baby is racist?
Have you ever experienced the first time they've seen you, them looking like it? Yes. Startled, taken aback, like move back, like, and
I
they're
think most
animals
babies
too.
might do that. I don't know. That's a little. I know there's studies been done on children between the ages of 3 and 5, so I can verify that. I don't know about little children,
I've experienced it,
little babies, little
but I
infants.
don't. I've experienced it, but I don't remember our children doing that. So, but yeah, those were my answers. And I said blackety black. I had one other little small comment. Cause we going through this, all these titles, all these names, everybody's something else, you know, continental, pan African. If you put the African with the American and all that, and I go in their lives too, in terms of overseas. I go in all lives. It could be Asian, it could be from Africa, it could be, you know, different regions of Africa. And like they be so aggressive
Please don't use
about the
black people. Because then you justify all the injustices and unaliving that happens to black people based on the fact they justify saying that we're aggressive people. That's
okay. Okay. How can I say? The young lady that was up here
they might be
earlier, they
passionate. They might be passionate.
interrupted. Oh, it's passion. Okay. So, yeah, so with the titles and stuff, it's like I'm just so exhausted. So I'm just like, I'm going with blackety black. So somebody got upset about that the other night. They was like, no, don't say that because, and I don't understand those parts. I really don't. I don't understand the dynamics of all that. So that's all. Thanks for having me up, host. It's my first time seeing your live. I will be checking for you. Seem very interesting, intriguing, and certainly informative.
All right. Thanks for coming up, Auntie.
Have a good night.
Peace. All right. And we'll go to the next guest. Who's next, Leisha? Let me know.
Me, bro.
Too real. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Um, uh, Age 29, race black, pronouns he, and what, is it alright to carry on speaking?
What did you say?
Did you hear anything I said?
We heard.
Age I'm 29, race I'm black, and pronouns he.
Cool. Talk to us.
Okay, I think I've seen racism on both sides. I mean, I've experienced racism my whole life. I'm in an interracial relationship. We used to live in the UK, and I've had racism my whole life. Literally, just by being stopped at 2012 riots in London. I was stopped about God knows how many times. Um, Prison, loads of different things, just day to day basics things.
Hold on.
Then
Can I ask you one question? Can you give
yeah,
an
go on.
example of how your YT person experienced racism?
In my experience with my wife coming to Gambia, I mean, I was born in the Gambia, but I never thought it would be as bad as I thought it would be. Basically, everywhere we go, they look at her Tubab, which means white person. This white person here, oh, why are you letting this white person speak?
So it's an emotional, like they made her feel bad. They didn't actually like put her in a tree or physically harm her or actually like take something from her or reject her for a job or
Racism can be
have something where she couldn't live.
racism can be verbal.
They hurt
Racism
her
can be
feelings. No, that
listen.
can't be verbal. They hurt
It's
her
not just
feelings.
hurting her feelings, charging her double the price because she's white.
Sir, charging her
That's
what?
racism. Charging her double the price just because she's white.
No, that's
That's not why.
That is
reparations.
part of
It's
racism.
because
That's
you as a
reparations.
black man supposed to know better. That's why
Pardon?
they acting like. That's not why. It's because you're supposed to know better.
Listen, the point I'm trying to say is there's racism in both in both.
That's not racism. Racism is the fact that the borders of your country, Gambia, were drawn by a white person. Racism is the fact that they have colonized your people and oppressed them so much for that you think that being with a white T woman makes you different. So
I don't see
that's
myself as different. I don't see myself as different because at the end of the day,
Yes, you do.
I'm all for black. I'm straight that. But I, s- huh? I'm all for my
How are
people.
you all for black and not understanding that they just because they hurt her feelings or they
It's
gave
not
or
about
they made
hurting
her
her
pay
feelings.
reparations
It's
made her
listen.
pay
It's not about hurting her
reparations on
feelings.
the items,
Listen.
then all of a sudden
That's
now
my
it's
under.
racism.
That's my understanding of
Okay,
racism.
so let me ask you a question. So
Mm,
as a quote unquote black man, you're telling
mm.
me that you being unalive and made into a tree ornament is the same as someone charging her double the price because her people came and basically colonized their area of land.
Well,
That's
obviously
the
not the
same
same
thing?
thing. Obviously
Okay,
not in
then
the
how are
same
you
context.
how are you calling that racism, sir? Correlate that actually there's someone that's life is in jeopardy when they encounter racism compared to someone's feelings being hurt.
But the thing is, you've let everyone else speak, but you've not let me finish what I'm
Go
saying.
ahead.
when they charge her
You've
double,
been
that's
interrupting the whole time.
reparation.
But this the
Racism
thing.
has
No, but this the thing.
context.
This the thing. You guys have interrupted me. You've not let me finish what I was saying the whole time.
Because what you said was some cool. Never mind. Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
Okay. The point I was trying to say is, in Gambia, like it's very different. I mean, there's nice people all around, but at the same time, there's underlying racism. It's the same as if you went into a shop and they said, "Oh, this person stole from here." You're gonna say, "Oh, this person's being racist to me," just because I'm black. Right or not?
I think I honestly,
No, I'm
man.
just asking. I'm just
I
asking you a
know. I'm
question.
just answering. I'm just answering. To be
Mm.
honest with you, you don't know what racism is. Just because you black, don't mean you know what racism is. Where did you read about the definition of racism?
Brother, it's not about what I read about racism.
You
It's things
shouldn't
I've
be up
experienced in
here
life.
talking about shit you don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't join a fishing live and start talking about the best rod to use if I never read a book or experienced what it's like to go fishing. You understand? You being black should
My
tell
ancestors were
me
slaves. So
you
how are you telling me
understand
about what I know
racism.
about racism, what I don't know about
You
racism?
don't know about racism, and you're gonna learn if you keep dating who you dating, doing what you're doing. You're gonna learn eventually, and then you're gonna come back to
Right.
me. You're gonna be in my DM saying, "You know what, brother, you was right." You know what I mean? Hey, yo, to the live. You do
Brother,
know how many black men
I'm
have
married.
done
It's
that?
not about
All
dating,
right,
but listen,
hold on, because we're not here to talk to you. This is my live. It's a show. So, do y'all know how many black men have come back into my DMs and told me I was right after they broke up with a significant other?
1,000.
Do you know one of them is a content creator right now talking about he's pro-Palestine, making all this content right now. He came on my live and he said that, what did he say? That interracial relationships weren't problematic or something like that. And he was in an interracial relationship. He broke up with Becky, came back to me and said, "You know what, brother? You was right." You know how often that happens? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think people that don't know what they're talking about shouldn't come up here. And there are black people that don't understand racism. Just because you black don't mean you understand an oppressive system as complex as white domination. We can talk about it later.
He don't know.
But brother, one thing I can say to you is I've been with my woman for about 10 years. So I don't know what you're talking about. What you've experienced in America is very different to what I've experienced in the UK. I've experienced racism my whole life. Do you know what I'm saying? Being oppressed,
And the same people
being
that have willed racism upon you can turn around, and the people that have really been oppressed, all of a sudden now y'all have the power to give the same thing that they've willed for how many years over you.
okay,
Interesting.
but let me give you an example, sister. Yeah? Us black people, we don't help
Related.
we don't help us. Listen, we don't help ourselves. Listen,
For yourself.
realistically,
Now you've been
listen,
married many years.
realistically, we don't help.
How do black
Realistically, we don't
people?
help ourselves.
Okay,
Wearing weaves, all of that. That's.
pause. Because if you're telling me that you understand racism, then you understand how black wealth was generationally just disregarded.
Mm. I'm on your side. The point I'm trying to say to you is we don't help ourselves. Yeah, as black people,
Oh,
changing the color
no.
of our skin, lightening ourselves,
He's been
lightening
with
our
her for 10
skins,
years. He's
straightening
been
our
with her for
heads.
10 years. All right, so now he's about to turn on us, guys. He went from oh, it's on both sides to now he about to turn the gun on us. The pew pew is on us, y'all. Here we go. Oh, somebody got him down. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for the Panther pause. Because that's what they do. That's why interracial relationships are problematic, especially for black men. But in general, it wasn't until black men started talking about black power that they made interracial relationships legal. So, as to compromise black men, there was a time when we had no other options. We had to stay within our community, and we was about to fight for our community. Then all of a sudden, we start getting Becky and this and that, and we started talking a little different. He's about to come up here and talk down to his own people in defense of someone from the oppressor's class. That's crazy.
All right, so let me say this, man. Erica, you need to mute your mic, Miss Lady. You've been giving feedback, being unmuted this whole time. You got wind coming in from what sound like a hurricane. I don't know where you at, or a tornado. Every time somebody's speaking, you giving feedback. When y'all come up on this panel, y'all need to stay muted until it's your turn to talk. You distort the feed, and 9 times out of 10, when you got a trash ass iPhone 3, you distort the feed because your whack mic picks up the background noise. God damn it. Listen, man, the goal is 120K in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Y'all tap the screen, get them likes up. And TB8 is next.
Okay, hold on. But why did she just put in the chat that Becky wants to fight for you too? Lord, save us.
Oh my goodness. Holy Spirit. What do you be saying?
Holy Spirit activate.
Holy Spirit activate. We need on the helmet of salvation. That's what I got on my head right now. All right, y'all. Shout out to everybody with the whole armor. The whole armor of Pan-Africanism. The whole armor of the ancestors. We're going to keep going. Let me know who's next in here. I don't know who's next. Who's next, y'all?
We just told you.
TB8.
I'm here. How y'all doing?
TB.
How you
Yeah,
doing?
TB. Talk to us. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
How you doing? My pronouns are woman, lady, female. I'm brown, beautiful, melanated. And can anyone experience racism? No. Are WT people inherently racist? Yes. Can black people and white cultures peacefully coexist? No. I live in an area that's predominantly YT, and I deal with a whole lot of underhanded, speaking weirdness, just weirdness, honey. And it don't make no sense. Like I mind my business, I stay in my lane, I get knocks at the door. They heard the air fryer go off and they thought it was my carbon monoxide detector. Just extraterrestrial unnecessariness. Mind your business, stay in your lane. Like if it's not bothering you, don't bother it. If I don't care to converse with you or deal with you, stay in your lane. Just know where you're at, know who you are. So yeah, I say no.
That's crazy. Well, I heard you.
I'm a chocolate chip and a cream cookie. I'm telling you, and it's I never seen it at this level until I lived in an area that's predominantly not representing me, and the lack of awareness that they have about their behavior and how they are. And when you present them with an issue, hey, this is happening, I don't like this. Oh, maybe because it's this, it's always some form of optimism. And they can never understand exactly what you're saying. But if another one of them explains the situation, it's totally understood. And that's just weird to me. It's like you're intentionally ignoring what I'm telling you because you don't want to take accountability and you don't want to, just be honest about what's really going on. But you'll get a 1% of them who is like, oh, I know what's going on. I know how they can be, et cetera, et cetera. I'm standing on your side. And it's just ridiculousness. The fact that I may share, even with my friends who represent me, hey, they get on my nerves. This is what I'm dealing with in the area that I live in because they live in a predominantly, black area. And they're like, oh, not all of them are bad. Girl, did I say that? Like, why are you jumping to defend them, Hattie Mae? Why can't you stand on the reality of what's actually happening? Because if somebody puts a knee on your neck, it's going to be a whole different outcome than if we put a knee on their neck or something happens to them. We just know that even outside of slavery, today in 2023, the things that have happened within the mandemic that we've seen, Trayvon Martin, et cetera, Sandra Bland, et cetera, the things that we have seen that have hit the media, we know that these things actually exist. But I guess it's just really hard for melanated people to really take that in and to believe that we are still oppressed and we are still dealing with a monster. That's all I wanted to say.
All right, shout out to you.
What's the grade?
You said what?
What was the grade?
Oh, that's an A. That's an A easy. It's an easy A. Thank you for, I'm sorry, I got my mouth full, but thank you for contributing, sister. I'm going to follow you as well. I'm going to go to the next guest. Erica, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm sorry, I'm outside, so it might be a little windy. My name is Erica. I'm 43 years old. I am white. I guess female, she, her. I guess I just want to say I've been listening to everything for a good half an hour, and I agree with a lot of probably 100% of what you guys are saying. I don't want to argue with anybody. I'm just here asking questions, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. And on that note, I will leave.
Is that why you said Becky want to fight for you too?
I was raised with a very racist family, and I've got documents going all the way back to the beginning of the United States of America. And I understand, and a lot of people don't understand that I understand, but I've done a lot of research in the United States of America, and I have minutes from actual family reunions of white tea. I don't even know people of how they're going to take over the schools, the justice system, and the churches. And as of right now, they have. And it's disturbing to me that the United States of America is still where we are today when we should progressively be moving forward. I'm sorry.
Ma'am, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You said you are YT, correct?
Yes, sir.
What are you teaching your people and your family as
Well,
far
my
as not
family
being
doesn't want.
racist? Hold on.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yes.
no, no, no. I'm asking you a particular question for a reason. You said you came up on a panel and you agree with everything. My question for you is, what are you teaching your people or other white people in terms of not being racist? I want to hear that from you specifically, Erica.
Well, I can give you one explanation from myself, because where I grew up was very white, in Cleveland, Ohio. And I grew up with the N-word being said on a daily basis, unfortunately. And I had to listen to that my whole life. And I hated it. I still to this day. And I was in a situation with my children, and they were around some people that I'm very close to, related to family. And I said, if my children ever ask me what that word is, because they don't know and they've never heard it, and if they ever ask me, I will never speak to you again. And my son was about in second grade, and he was saying a rhyme, and he 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 didn't know really what he was saying, but he was rhyming words, right? Just what a second grader would do. And the N-word came up, and I lost my shit. I'm sorry, I'm about to get very heated right now. And I quit talking to a lot of people in my whole family and my whole life, because it doesn't make any sense to me. So what I'm doing right now is I'm telling my
Biracial?
story. I'm sorry?
Are your children biracial?
No, ma'am.
So,
No, they're not.
So your family, you're telling me that the N-word just popped in your son's mouth because he was around your certain family members, but somehow out of the whole family that's racist, you came out unscathed. But in the chat, and I'm talking about in the chat,
yes,
you said Becky wants to save y'all too.
Yes.
Do you realize even in that term, you're sitting there playing into racism?
Yeah, but they kept saying break up with Becky. They kept saying Becky this, Becky that. So that's why I said it. I didn't know. And
Okay,
excuse
so
my
watch
ignorance.
this. Watch this. If your
Yes.
whole family is racist, right?
Yes.
How is Becky gonna save him when the proximity to her puts his life in danger?
I don't know.
So then that's what I said. If they were saying break up with Becky because he really is in the proximity of danger, even if a black man dated you, you are putting his life in jeopardy because the proximity to your family is literally the can, and the can.
I'm listening. I really am trying to understand everything that's going on right now. So if I'm listening to you, I really am. That's why I'm here.
The comfortability of being white is simply this. You can go around the world and tell people to choose you. You can choose whatever options because you don't have the let me say liability of
Yes.
worrying about a life being lost. But when someone is telling black men particularly, hey, or even black women, your proximity to this community is very dangerous. And when a YT woman comes on the stage and explains how her family is exactly what black people are talking about, and you still tell this man, Becky wants to save you too, how would you save a black man that is in proximity of your family? How could you save this man?
Well, first, I probably wouldn't even take him around my family because I do date black men. Yes, I do.
I could tell.
And I feel like it's not fair for anybody, either of us, whether I'm white or black, or if I was black and, dating a white woman or, I feel like we really need to work together. And I honestly want to start telling my story. This is the first time I've ever got on a live. This is the first time I've ever said anything. And I have a real lot to say about how it even brought up, like, in this country. Like, I'm sorry, I'm deflecting from what you were saying. I apologize. But I completely understand where you're coming from. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. And I'm also here to tell my story.
Okay, so here's the thing about his situation, right? Because he's in the continent of Africa. So his Gambia is not an African word. You understand? That's a Latin word. So already, even his identity has been changed because of Europeans, right? He's a Gambian man. Gambia is come from a European word.
I did not know
So,
that.
anything with IA at the end is Latin. So that comes from Rome. So already, right there, that just shows you how oppressed his people is by white people. They didn't even name their own damn country.
Wow.
So then on top of that, they were enslaved and colonized. The borders of his land was drawn by white men that wanted to divide up his land and exploit their wealth, exploit their people, exploit their bodies, exploit their land, right? So now, imagine me, forget race, right? Forget that even exists. But imagine a movie about aliens. There's two types of aliens, the red aliens and the blue aliens. And the red aliens colonize an entire planet of blue aliens. Name them, which is kind of like branding them. Name them, and enslave them, and subjugate them. And then now, those red aliens they decide they want to be nicer, and they start having sex with them after they've already spent hundreds of years R-wording them, literally. Look up the book, They Were Her Property. Literally, those same people were R-wording his people, right? So after all this brutality, now those red aliens are saying, the answer to you saving yourselves is me. I'm the answer. I can save you. That's how you sound right now. When you say to him that Becky's going to save him. Because he doesn't realize that, because he's been told his whole life, Becky looks like God. Because his people, the colonizers' people said that God's son looked like Jared Leto. So if that's God's son, what the hell does God look like?
Okay, so first of all, he didn't look like Jared Leto. That's just.
I'm not going to sit here and argue about what he looked like.
I don't want to argue
and
with
tell
you either,
you
sir.
history and
I did
how
not.
Jesus' white depictions
Jesus
was
wasn't
used
white.
on the continent of Africa. It don't matter what he was, Becky. I'm telling you how it was used. It don't matter what he actually was. There's pictures all over. Type Jesus on the internet right now. He looked like Jared Leto. He looked like what's that guy that played the Joker? Heath Ledger. We know this. You know Jesus ain't usually depicted as a dark-skinned black man with dreadlocks or an afro that looks like he's from Gambia. So knowing all of this history, knowing all of this context, how can you turn around and say those that have exploited his people for so long are the answer? The truth is they're not. The truth is white women are sexual aggressors in interracial relationships with black men because black men did not have freedom to choose to be with white women. That is something that they were allowed through society. Loving versus Virginia made that something that we allowed, that it was allowed. You understand? It wasn't something that black people fought for, we marched for, and they decided to give it to us. No, this is not something where there was no difference in race and there was no oppressive system in place and we all just decided to neutrally come together. Human beings just decided to come together. No, it was set up so that the same people that enslaved us said, you know what? This is something we'll allow now. That means it was not the black man's choice to allow that to happen.
I can save him. If I love him, my love will save him.
Oh, I thought she really said that. I'm sorry. I thought she really said. I was about to throw my phone. You was about to buy me a new phone. I'm about to throw my phone. I'm about to throw my phone now. Y'all said Panther pause? I wasn't even looking at the phone now.
Bingo.
Hey, yo, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing has an interview about this. Type in Dr. Frances Cress Welsing in YouTube. She has an interview about this from like the 80s, where she breaks down what I'm trying to say. But She's got more elegance, of course. She's a clinical psychologist that breaks down the oppressive caste system of race. Y'all can talk about it, but yeah. I'm gonna go to the next guest.
Legend, hold on, brother, real quick, man. Y'all slacking on these likes, man. I've been calm tonight. My energy's off, but we got to get over 120K, y'all. It's over 300 people in here. Everybody tap that screen. Fill up the red bar 2 times. Tap the screen. If we ain't at 120K or above in the next 8 minutes, these comments is going to disappear, God damn it. Tap that screen. Tap the screen. Make sure y'all give Legend and the Diva. Just a quick mod break or announcement. And I'm going to shut the hell up now.
Because that's another thing, man. We can't act like we don't know what would happen if interracial relationships became illegal tomorrow. These white folks, these white people, what's her name? Beckisha, whatever you want to call her, will cry her way back to daddy's arms. They'll leave you in a heartbeat because we already know it's been done before. They'll relinquish, their proximity to patriarchal power, but they'll never let go of their privilege. I'll go to the next guest.
Can I just say something to that real quick, brother?
Uh-huh.
Have you ever, and I know you've dated out, but I remember having a conversation with my brother.
I did not date out. I poked.
Well, you poked out. Well, my brother,
Right,
he was raised in Seattle and he dated out. And one of the things that was so funny that he realized was when a YT woman would tell him that he could not meet her parents because they would disown her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, I wanted to speak next if nobody else is going.
Wait, hold on. We got hold on. Somebody. Who's next, Leisha?
It's 2 people before him.
Okay. Kelly is next. Kelly, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
50 years old, female, her, married, black, 100% black. Can anyone experience racism? No. Only the black people of America is what is all I can go by. That's my experience. I'm black in America. Are white people inherently racist? Yes. I think they have to be taught to not be racist. Can black and white cultures coexist? I think yes, if whiteys are taught to coexist. Because I'm in the mortgage industry. My husband and I, we're in real estate, and we're in California, and we read deeds of trust all the time, and it says all day, do not sell to blacks. Do not sell to blacks or dogs. Now, they can't erase these things off the deed. It has to, but we have to ignore them like we don't see it, and there was a lot of redlining, where we didn't even get to see houses that were for sale because it said private property. It wasn't private. It was just private to us, right? So that's the racism that we experience on a daily basis. I've been a business owner for a long time. Before I got into the real estate and mortgage industry, I owned beauty salons, and I would often get phone calls that, from different races, and a lot of the YT races would call and say, "Can you do my daughter's hair for prom?" And I say, "Of course," and I of course have my money making voice on because we code switch, right? And in the code switch, they said, "I don't want any coloreds or blacks touching my daughter," right? And so I'd have to say, well, send her on, sir, right? Because I'm going to make sure a black or a colored touch your daughter's hair because you called my establishment. In that, though, I've experienced a lot of colorism and racism in California, in America. And so that in these 50 years, I can say that it's inherent through the YT race, and they have to be learned and taught to not discriminate or, use their white privilege above others.
Yeah. I heard that. All right. Appreciate you. Thank you. That was a breakdown.
Erica?
I'm giving her an A+. What do you think, D?
Is that with your A+, Black people across the diaspora experience racism, and I feel like minorities do as well, particularly when it's YT centered. So I definitely see what you're saying. I agree with the rest of what you're saying. I just want to say that across the diaspora of Blackness, no matter where we go, we are experiencing a level of racism and oppression.
Oh yeah, it's true. All right, and I'll go to the next guest. Who we got? Is it Shy? Alicia, let me know. Shy, all right, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
All right, 34. I'm a child of the diaspora, and I'm a man. He, himothy, he, himself, I am that I am.
Himothy is a new one. I like that. Himothy. I'm going to start using that.
Don't disappoint.
Timmy Turner.
You're starting out funny.
You hear me? All right, so I'm going to... Without stepping on nobody's toes, first and foremost, thank y'all for letting me up here. What up, everybody? And then, man, answer the first question. Can anyone experience racism? Lots of people can experience racism. I'm going to give you some examples. Eastern Africans can be racist, and I have, and any of y'all that's been on this app, y'all heard them be racist towards South Africans and West Africans. We've heard Indian people, the Dot Indians, we've heard them be racist towards each other, the lighter ones versus the darker ones. We've had the examples go on and on. So yeah, I believe, I know that other people can experience racism. Are white people inherently racist?
Hold on 1 second. I want to ask you a question in regards to the first one. So are you talking about xenophobia? Are you talking about xenophobia or colorism?
Don't interrupt yet. Let me rock. You interrupt nobody else.
I did. Hello, are you deaf?
She's gonna interrupt. Yeah, go ahead. You gotta let the sister speak. Go ahead, D.
I'm about xenophobia or colorism. Like he's equating racism to xenophobia and colorism. I just want to understand it.
Okay, we talking about racism itself. What is racism? Break it down. Racism versus prejudice. What's the difference between both?
Well, there's a huge difference in regards to power.
Okay, so before we get all lost on a tangent, I don't like getting lost on tangents.
Oh wow.
All right. Let me get to the second one. Then after I say my statements, then y'all hit me back with the questions. Are white people inherently racist? I believe so, to their course, and they're destructive. Now let's move to the last one. Can black and white cultures peacefully coexist? No. And we've seen too many examples of why we can't. I'll give one example. Let's just say the purity of our women. At one point, our women were not having this quote unquote HO phase, and then we seen the influence of white tea women culture and sexual liberation. And I don't know if y'all been around PWIs, y'all seen how they get down. I went to a PWI. I got to see how they get down at parties and what they do. And they don't count a lot of things as whole activity, which we would count. But now our cultures are blending, and we're seeing this at a detriment to our people. So now y'all can, that was my example. Y'all can ask me the questions as Didi.
Pillar. So it's very interesting when you came up. When you speak of xenophobia or racism, and we're going to go back to Africa. So I'm assuming you're talking about the YT African people in Africa?
No.
Okay, so you're talking about black people against black people?
Yeah. Melanated
so then you're talking about xenophobia, right? And tribalism, right?
That would be racism, though. There's their racism.
No, not racism.
It's not racism, especially when the races are the same, sir. That's okay. I'm not even gonna say what that is. And then you spoke. Hold on, India. We're speaking about a caste system, right? Still a form of xenophobia, but very much a caste system in which darker skinned people are normally at the bottom of that caste system, correct?
We're not worried about the place of the people.
Okay, no.
But they're not.
You're not going to belittle the word racism to make yourself feel comfortable with sleeping with Becky. That's not my issue. What I am asking you, he's gone.
He gone. Shout out to y'all for the Panther Pause. Hey man, the Panther Pause is so essential. Go ahead, speak.
Why do these people get on this panel and be so emotional? Homie sounded damn near like I don't want to say nothing too crazy, but listen, y'all gotta have respect for Diva when she's talking to y'all. When y'all having that conversation, be respectful to the lady. If she has a question as the co-host, she has the right, and y'all need to shut the hell up and let the lady talk. God damn it.
Absolutely.
Hey,
With
somebody
that
took me down.
said,
I
I'm a
did not
mute.
get down. Somebody
Yeah, I
took me
don't know
down.
how you get back up here, but you got to get dropped again, brother. You got the five
I
paws,
got back
champ.
up here.
Who
I just
brought him
dropped.
back?
Yeah, you
Five
ain't winning up
paws.
here. You sound goofy and confused.
All right. We're gonna go to the next guest. Y'all keep tapping like. It is past my bedtime, so we just up here. I'll give it another 20 minutes. Another 20 minutes. We're gonna keep talking.
Hold on, let me do this. Let's get to 150K by the time that the live ends. Everybody power tap that goddamn screen. Everybody tap for 30 seconds. You're gonna see that red bar. If y'all all keep tapping for 2 minutes straight, we can get to 150K, man. Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap that screen, and gift Legend and the Diva. Y'all could give me one time too, I'm just saying. But listen, let me shut the hell up, goddammit. Y'all
By
can get
glitch.
that. Yeah, Legend, your audio went out, so your mic is probably dead or something.
I was talking to
Or
my
your
wife, so
Bluetooth.
I can.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, I was trying to get my I gotta let the divine feminine energy of the ancestors grace the live. You feel me? Gotta have my uncle on. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the sisters. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the brothers too that know what this means. You know what I'm saying? We got it. We got it on for every live.
Excuse
All
me,
right.
Legend, is that a cross? Can you teach me? Is that a cross? I'm a
Nah.
bit confused. Can you teach me something? Is that a cross?
No. We don't want Jesus phallus on here. All right. Well, who's next? Alicia.
Leisha keep the boat moving.
Alicia sure do. Like the live's been getting better just because Alicia is so good at this. I forgot how to say that word. It's in French. Je t'aime. I don't know. Nah, je t'aime. I don't know how to say that word. I think it means I love you or something, right? J Tame. Yes,
Hello. Yes,
could you pronounce that for me?
Jacam. Does mean I love you. I
Yeah, I
love you,
knew it.
brother legend. I love you, brother
Yeah.
legend. I love you, diva. I love you,
Yes.
speak
Much
the
love.
truth. Okay.
Talk to us. What's your age, race, and
I'm
pronouns, please?
black. I'm 48,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm she, her.
All
Her,
right.
she.
All
Can
right.
anyone experience racism? No, only people of color and indigenous people of the world. Are white people, white people inherently racist? Of course. Of course. That's all they do is sit around listening to black people jokes and how to degrade a black person or picking at a black person, and they grow up knowing that kind of stuff. That's what upsets me, is that they act like they don't know what it is. They know what it is. They grow up with it. They know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what's going on. Can black and YT cultures peacefully coexist? I hope not. I hope not in my lifetime, the rest of my life, and the rest of my children and grandchildren and great. We need to be alone. They need to leave us alone. That's the way I
Mm-hmm.
feel about it. We need to be
Mm-hmm.
alone. We need to be able to wake up with our own people. That's why I'm trying to get to Africa before I
I
leave this
heard
earth.
that.
I gotta go. I gotta go. And if I don't get there, I want to be cremated and I want my ashes spread all over the
That's
continent.
beautiful.
So, yeah, I did want to ask you something, Brother Legend, because that young lady that was up here, Becky, she talked a lot about, saving someone or whatever. And then you came in with, I don't know, it was a minute ago. but it was about how when black men in our community started saying, let's save our people, that's when they threw in the white tea girls.
Right.
And I saw this, and I came to my own conclusion about it when I was in college, where the white tea coaches and fathers, and they would throw their white tea daughters at players.
Yeah, they still do. They still do.
They still do.
They still do. Yeah.
Yeah,
At the
they'll give up
draft.
their
At the
daughter.
draft. Yeah.
They don't care nothing about a white tea woman. They could care less about a white tea woman, and that's why and I don't understand why the white tea women, they go against their own best interests most of the time, and I just found that very similar that you said that, and then I always thought that I always said, they just give the coach's daughter to the best ball player, and he didn't care. He didn't care as long as his pockets were full.
As long as their whiteness gives them power, they will always. Like as a man, I'm just going to use myself as an example. My masculinity will not trump the color of their skin, and they know that. So it cannot. You can say I chose to be in that relationship, but at the end of the day, the white man chose for me to be in that relationship, because when it was illegal, we didn't see people breaking that cultural norm to get together. You understand? Like it very few and far in between. You might find some cases, but they didn't feel the way they did until Daddy said, "You know what? Legally, we'll allow it." And as long as they have that power over us, they have been so subjugated by their white men that they see coming to a black man as they'll have some more power. They'll be able to have some more say in what goes on. And so that brothers see that, and they think that they'll gain a proximity to whiteness, but however, she's forfeited that when she left her white man. So it just turns into a whole thing. We could talk about it. It gets really complex.
It really is, because I was just sitting here thinking that even with that, if the ball player or the executive or whoever decide they want to leave, now the white tea man can go back to the daughter and say he did something to you, and that will destroy him, and that fails through. So they're very dangerous to us.
Look at Jonathan Major.
Yeah, they're very dangerous to us. And as far as the wealth, I always thought about that when my father used to talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I think he was the first athlete that, I don't know if he was the first, no, I think it was Wilt Chamberlain. Daddy used to say, because Wilt was horrible. He was horrible. Horrible. And they would take their money, they would marry them, take their money, leave them, sue them, and they still do it to this day, though, Brother Legend. And I don't understand that they don't even see it. So they must be really deep into their self-hatred or self-whatever, denial.
When you see basketball players with these women, it is intentional. It is by design. They don't want that wealth going from the masters, aka the owners of those teams. Isn't it weird we call them owners?
Right.
Why aren't they investors? Why are they called owners? But anyway, and they trade black men like an auction block. But anyway. They don't want the wealth of those owners going back into black communities. So how do you stop that? You know, it's by design. Wow. None of this is by accident.
It's very deep. It's very deep.
Dr. Frances Cress Welsing explains it much better than me. If you want to look her up, there's a YouTube interview from the 80s. She got an afro, and it's two other brothers there, and she just stumps him. She takes over the whole interview, just
what was the
breaking
name
down
again?
Frances, like France, the country, with the S at the end. Frances Welsing, Welsing, sing. So with one L, sing. Frances Welsing, and just type interracial in YouTube.
Okay.
Yep.
There's one more thing before I go. I know I'm taking up some time, but when I hear white people always saying that they want to be an ally or they want to be an accomplice, the first thing I think of is I want you to do a land search and I want you to do a property search. And I want you, if you work at a bank, I want you to do some financial searches. And I want you to find all of that land that was stolen. I want you to find the homes that you live in. And if you're willing to give those back, we know you mean business. If you don't want to
I
do
heard
that,
that.
you're not on my side because there was a lot of,
We need more than that, but you're right. That's a step
yeah,
in the
we
right
need that.
direction.
We need that. And a lot of the ones that work at the bank, they can find out where all that money from Tulsa went to. You know, they can find out. That's what you need to be doing. Don't come in black place spaces, get your feelings hurt because you're not doing the proper work. And that's all I got to say. But I'm so happy. I watch you all the time. But I really
Appreciate
like
you,
you
sister.
guys. I appreciate you
Absolutely.
guys. Thank you.
All right. One love. Peace.
One love.
All right, Francis Cress Welsing, white woman, black man. That's what you can type in YouTube if you want to know what we're talking about. It'll pop right up. White woman, black man. Francis Cress Welsing.
I love
She was a
her.
student. Yeah. Oh man. Please watch it, D. D. You my co-host. Please watch this so
I'm familiar.
you can help me
But I
unpack it.
love how she's in the back. Look, behind every great black man, there is a strong black woman. And she back there. I love your wife.
Yeah, no, she backed up. Yeah, honestly, shout out to the ancestor Francis Cress. And she ain't the only one. I'll be up here talking about Audre Lorde, Julia Hare. There's so many scholars, man. We can go all day. Bell Hooks. We can go all day, to be honest. Angela Davis when she was young. I don't know about now. Kathleen Cleaver. Yeah, we could do that all day. But I'm gonna keep it pushing, keep tapping like y'all. We almost at 150. Who's next? Sister Leisha. Let us know. Kirsten, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hello, everyone. My name's Kirsten. I'm a white Hispanic first generation American. I am I'm she, her pronouns. I never had to say that before. And I'm 19. I'm also an education major. If anyone has any questions about what they're teaching for future teachers at this time, I'm happy to answer those questions. When it comes to...
Hold on real quick before you say anything else. Black people, get your kids about their schools. They're not going to teach y'all. But anyway, keep going, Kirsten.
Sure. When it comes to racism, what's the definition that we're going off of?
Let me give that to you, actually. Just one moment. Because I know y'all like to make it subjective. So let's give an objective definition of racism. Racism is one group having the power to carry out systemic... Hold on. I got a little tongue-tied there. Hold on. Racism is one group having the power to carry out systemic discrimination through the institutional policies and practices of the society and by shaping the cultural beliefs and values that support those racist policies and practices.
Something. There she go.
I said it. You need to repeat it?
From the top.
All right. From the top, we can do it again.
No problem. I love to hear it.
Racism is one group having the power to carry out systemic discrimination through the institutional policies and practices of the society, and by shaping the cultural beliefs and values that support those racist policies and practices. This is the definition by the Alberta Civil Liberties Research Center.
Alberta, right?
Well, we could use the Google definition if you want to, but that's going to take you understanding context. This definition kind of gives you
I'm side on
context.
him. I'm side on him.
Kirsten, we cannot hear you. I don't know if you've been talking or what's going on.
Can you hear me now?
Up now we hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I was
We
talking.
haven't
Obama
heard a word
phone.
you said.
My
Obama
apologies.
phone.
With that definition, I would say no. And then are white people inherently racist? Is that just like an unconscious type of thinking where it just comes out naturally?
So
May I answer that
no.
one?
Go ahead.
That's not unconscious. That's just reality. History proved this. Today's society proved this. Still going on.
So what you're saying is that white people are born racist? Is that what I'm hearing?
No one wasn't born that way. You were thought that way. You were not born that way. So that's a thought process.
Okay, so it's basically white people are raised to be racist.
All right, let me take this back, Chef.
I bet.
All right, so inherently, I don't know why I know English better than y'all, but anyway, in a permanent, essential, or characteristic way. Not. I'm not talking about you, Shaft. I'm talking about. I know European languages better than Europeans. This is crazy. In a permanent, essential, or characteristic way. That is what inherently means. In a permanent, essential, or characteristic way.
Okay. Well,
it is not the same as innate. If that, I know that's going to make you feel better. Innate. No one wants to be guilty till proven innocent, right? No one wants to feel like they're inherently wrong in a situation, right? Even though I have to deal with that every day, right? I have to deal with that all the time. This one topic means that white people might be originally seen with some side eye and have to prove their anti-racism. And that gets them so uncomfortable that they need to define specifically what inherently means. But I have to walk every day around as a black man, and when I walk through Walmart, nobody cares if it's inherent or not. They see my black ass and think I'm a criminal. So, I hear you.
So it's basically just like feeding into stereotypes? Is that?
Yeah, and if you want to,
do you think? All right, wait, hold on. Do you think white supremacy by white people is just a stereotype?
I would say so, yeah. Not all white people tap into their white supremacy. I definitely don't.
So you know it exists within you. How can you tap into something that's not there?
That sounds quite intriguing. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
And my thing is, right, even if you did believe that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You came up here to tell us that. Why aren't you then, if you're not racist, right? You're one of the good ones? Okay, cool. Why aren't you on the lives of those that do tap in and trying to convince them that you're not racist? Why are you here?
Well, I don't really come across those lives for one. The algorithm kind of filters out these types of lives.
But if you're an anti-racist, right? If you're an anti-racist, you're going to seek out those spaces. And even if you're an anti-racist, you would have saw this live and you would have just kept scrolling because I don't need to prove to black people that I'm anti-racist. I need to prove to white people that are racist what it looks like to be
anti-racist. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I kind of went into this live because I have to write a college paper and I'm trying to get
I swear
both sides.
Ma'am, can I ask just one question? Just one question. I just got one question for Kirsten.
Sure.
Ma'am, did I hear you right? You said you're in education? You have a degree in education, or you study in education?
No. Not that I have a degree in education. I'm seeking a degree in education.
Okay, what do you plan to teach?
History.
Hold on. Are you a teacher right now, or are you looking to become a professor? Because I want to understand what you doing to people out in the world.
Well, what I'm doing is I'm giving out the truth to people that American history is whitewashed, that the right history should be taught, that white supremacy does exist, but in order to be white, you don't need to tap into that.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
How would
All right,
talking
hold on,
to
hold on, y'all, because this is a very nuanced conversation. It's like explaining to a fish that water is wet. You were in water your whole life, so you really cannot see that water is wet. And it's too late.
But
It's too
bro,
late. She's out of
I
here. I
just
think she's
my
out of here.
question, my question is.
Thank y'all for cash
Hold on,
pause.
hold on. I just had a question because she says she wants to be a teacher. If we have a teacher with this kind of mindset, imagine what that can do if she's teaching black kids.
She
She
don't got
claimed
no
what
business teaching black
she
kids.
claimed all these things, but these professors, these university professors, and these school teachers claim they want to be doing what they go into these professions, excuse me, for the betterment of humanity. But your mindset is literally causing destruction in these schools and
No,
in these universities.
but
I probably
speak,
didn't catch something she said, but I just had that question for clarity.
speak. If your children are being taught by her, it is your fault. You don't got no business having your children in them schools.
But brother,
Find even if it's a religious school, if there's black teachers, if you know that it's a black school, take them there. I understand. If you, I'm homeschooling. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And some of y'all say, but I got a job and I got to work and I got to survive, and I understand. But the thing is, you're gonna mess your kid up. What's worth more, your job or what you're gonna end up raising? Because now your child gonna have to unpack a whole lot of mess. Oh my goodness, the lies I was told in school, and my peers that believe it to this day is crazy. You
Hey,
know.
I
hey,
hear
hey,
you.
look, hey,
Hold on,
Legend.
Seth.
I'm
Let
in
me
the
just
same
say
boat
one
with
more
you,
thing to
man.
Legend. Hold on, brother. Hold on. I just got one more thing because I want Legend to speak to this. But brother, there's so many black and brown brothers and sisters in the U.S. still bringing their kids up in this goddamn system that we know is based off lies. They're still feeding into the system. They're still going through this process of what was designed to actually make us Africans be confused from a young age to the point we get past grade school and go into secondary education or what have you, and we lost in the sauce. What do you want to say to these people? Can you expound on that a little bit? Because I just
I
need
would
some
say these
clarity. You
people
know
they
they
got to
say I'm
homeschool.
slow.
I would
Yeah,
say
you
them
know
people got to
I'm a little
homeschool their
slow.
kids.
But what
Them
you think
people
about
got
that,
to home.
brother?
All right, well, slow down because them people got to homeschool their kids. That's the only answer. Like either homeschool your kids or take them to FDMG Academy. If you don't take them to Dr. Umar, that's the only answer I got for you. You cannot take them there and expect them to learn. All they're gonna learn is how to hate themselves. I mean, if you're gonna take them somewhere where they learn how to hate themselves, you better be doing your darndest to teach them to love themselves at home and
Yep.
tell them not to listen to nothing. Just teach them how to pass tests, because
Facts.
it's gotten worse to the older brothers and sisters that's having children. Listen, it's gotten worse since we was in school, and I'm in my early 30s. It's gotten worse. It's way worse. They're not even teaching what they taught us. Like it's
Nope.
you don't want your son to come home in a dress. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna keep him pushing.
I know
Shout
that's
out to
what's going
everybody
on.
that's blind out there. Shout
Come
out
on,
to
brother.
everybody that's still blind
You hear
and
me?
sleepwalking.
And I let that principal know straight up. Listen, you're not gonna teach my kids none of that shit. If her daddy not doing that shit, don't be teaching my kids none of that fucking shit. Excuse my
Oh
language,
Lord,
but
my sandwich. It's
that's
Tory,
just me being
brother.
unapologetic.
You
I'm
hear me?
telling you,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
can't do it.
Tory.
I
And
can't do it.
I let their mama know, like, listen, that Caesar Borgia garbage. You're not gonna teach my kid none of that
So
madness.
Yeah,
petty.
yeah, we ain't
You
doing
say
that.
Tory
I'm being
next.
dead
All
ass.
right, let me go to Tori Shaft. I appreciate you. Everybody, this is my brother Shaft, man. If y'all want to send him some gifts and follow his page, man, this
Out
brother
on
be
you for a
spitting
second
knowledge
there,
all day.
sir.
I
But
bet.
Tori, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
we hear
sorry.
you.
I'm 32. I'm white. She, her. Right. So,
Talk to us.
I was invited up here because of a comment I made, I think, about I feel like if you go too far to any side in your opinion, then you're probably going to be wrong because things tend to always fall a little more towards the middle. So if you believe that one side is completely wrong, then And that was just based on what I think somebody up here was saying. So that was forever ago. But I can go through the list and tell you how I feel about it.
Okay, so do you know who R. Kelly is?
No, you'll have to explain.
You don't know who R. Kelly is?
I've
No.
heard of R. Kelly, but I would like the full explanation because it's nothing I've researched before. So I'd like
Okay,
you to
do you
please
know
explain it to me.
who Harvey Weinstein is?
No, I don't.
You know who Elvis Presley is?
Yes, I know who Elvis is. But
Wow.
he was a
Okay.
singer, so.
Damn. So you don't know who Harvey Weinstein is? That's crazy. All right. No,
Well, I think that maybe that will help you because some
understand.
people
Yeah.
don't grow up in the
Jeffrey
same
Dahmer
area,
is.
so they don't know the same information.
Hold on.
So maybe I
Hold
can
on.
give you my
Hold on.
opinion
Hold
on
on.
it.
Do you
You
know
can
who
see it from a
Jeffrey
different
Dahmer is?
view.
Do you know who?
Harvey Weinstein was actually the
Yeah.
most talked about man of like, what year was that?
Brother,
2019?
use Jeffrey Dahmer because she know who Jeffrey Dahmer
Well,
is.
can you guys
Do you
just
know
tell
who
me so
Jeffrey
I can go
Dahmer
through the
is?
questions?
Do you know who Jeffrey
Yes,
Dahmer
because he
is?
eats hearts out using
Can
songs.
you
Everyone
not
knows.
direct me? This is my show. Can you just answer my question? Don't listen to everybody else. Listen to me. This is a
Well, I
discussion
thought I came on
between
to
me
answer
and you.
the questions. Okay.
God help
It's
this
weird how.
man.
Hold on. Speak. Please don't speak for me. Hold on, ma'am. I'm sitting up here. I'm talking to you.
Yes.
This is the discussion between me and you.
Yes.
Please stop directing me and
Gotcha.
telling me what to do. I'm talking to you. You want to come up here and talk to me?
Okay.
Okay.
I am
So,
talking
do
to
you know
you.
who Jeffrey
You're being a
Dahmer
little
is?
aggressive, but it's cool. Don't worry about it. I
Did you
said
just
yes, I
call me
did.
aggressive?
I'm about to go left. Like it's about to happen.
You are being a
There
little,
goes
you're
my
being a little more
right there.
aggressive than you
First of
should
all,
be.
he's
I'm
not being
trying to answer
The
aggressive.
the
You brought
question,
your
disrespect is
pale
and I
ass
crazy.
up
wasn't
She
here.
being
trying to
You
give you.
brought your
disrespectful.
pale ass up here, and you want to talk, and you
No,
trying to
she
talk
gotta
to you. You
go.
try to
She
understand something
definitely
what's
gotta
going on
go.
with your
Come
dry
on,
face
fine.
Why
ass.
y'all
But you,
dropping without the Panther pause? You gotta wait till the Panther pause, y'all. Oh, okay. Me,
speak
myself,
your
and I
voice too deep. Let me get his read. I needed to get that cave coochie corrected.
She was doing too much. Thank y'all for the Panther pause. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Hop in that
but check
tub.
this out though, people, and check this out though. I'm not admit. Hey, legend, you mentioned R. Kelly. I'm not gonna advocate for what that man has done, but what's his name? What's his name? Should have been to the same thing too, just as he did. What's his name? The
Oh,
so-called
Harvey
king of rock and
Weinstein.
roll. Presley should have went to the same thing too.
Elvis. Oh yeah, Elvis did do some wild shit. Oh, you're right. That's why you brought up Elvis. I
Yeah,
was wondering
because
why you said
he
that.
when he was 21, he married a 14-year-old.
That's right. That's true.
That's I don't want to say the word, you know what I'm saying, but you know what time it is.
Yeah, nah, but I wanted to bring up Jeffrey Dahmer because she said if you go too far to the left or too far to the right, and I'm like, well, how do you look at Jeffrey Dahmer? Can you be in the middle about that? Was he an evil man, or are you going to sit up here and defend him? Because I know she was getting ready to position herself to be able to defend racism. So
Yeah, the
instead
compare
of that,
and then do the comparison game.
yeah, right,
You know
yeah,
the game
right,
they like to play, the
exactly.
compare with it, don't compete type shit. Yeah, they good
Yeah,
at
like
that.
anti-racism is just as bad as racism type shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The comparison game,
Yeah,
the compare with it, don't
right.
compete. Because now we
Yeah,
see the Depression Olympics is
I'm
going
just
crazy out
mad
here.
because you know what? My dad owns you guys, and you guys are sitting up here and you're trying to use your little voices to say racism, but you guys are just as racist.
Yeah, exactly the same
crazy.
tone right there. Exactly the same tone
Crazy.
right there.
Aggressive with me
Right.
and manhandling me and throwing me around the room.
Yeah, now they're trying to say anti-whiteness now. What the hell's going on? I'm
Crazy.
little, I'm little, I'm like Usain Bolt, like in the lane right here, confused. Like how are they trying to keep up now?
Yeah.
We the fastest in this game right here. What's going on?
Yep.
Just after 2020, 3 years after
Mm-hmm.
2020, now they're crying racism. They can face racism now. Ain't
Now
this kind of
yeah.
ironic?
Yep.
I
And
tell
now
folks,
all of a sudden a bunch of us want to call ourselves Native Americans, but we'll get into that later.
oh,
You know,
don't
I
even
think
get
it's
there, man.
all the same system, bro. I think the same system pushing out this black people can be racist. So now you have a
That cat right there
justification.
behind you, that one right there behind you
Right.
is
Yep.
helping them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that boy right there.
Mm.
And it's sad. I think there's a word. I think there was a sister was elaborating on something about like these kind of folks that they're the mouthpiece of white supremacy. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
they're basically trying to say, well, we ain't got to do all the defending now. We got them folks is helping us now. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
That's right.
Just for some followers and getting clouds out here. Because Joel Patrick and all them they paid actors. Because Joel Patrick exposed himself in the live, saying that the conservative they're paying him to act this way. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, you know they paying him. I got $50 off of a video one time. It got 100,000 views. That's why when you see me hopping these pro-black lives, you're gonna see me throwing gifts. I just be throwing gifts because I get them from the people, so I just give them right back. You know what I'm saying? I don't give all of them back, but I give them right back. Yes, I still give them back. The rest of it go to my nonprofit. Y'all know b1initiative.org. The link is in my bio. I keep my service running, but at the same time, this guy gets millions of views off of telling white people exactly what they want to hear. He's getting bans on his page. I know it. He's getting big bans on his page, and all the people in them comments are about his white.
Hey, listen, man. Marcus Garvey warned us about cats like that way before he died.
Hey, we need to do a challenge, brother, where we make some content and we say everything that they would say, and then flip it at the end.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Right. Yep.
Funny enough, legend. When cats like that was the middle class cats in Kingston in the, I think in the 30s, because you know at that time the crime was booming in Jamaica, all the Korean, all the English islands that they owned.
Yeah.
You know when Garvey went to Kingston to bring for the idea before he came to America, he brought he brought it literally to middle class working Negroes like that one right there. Like that one right there, the boot tuckers right there, like that one right behind you right there.
Yeah.
And they want to have nothing to do with it. Nothing. Nothing to do with the plan. That's why you have to move.
Y'all gotta go to jail.
Go all the way to the United States.
Crazy. Yeah.
And it's sad.
That's a shame.
And it's sad again. It's sad that Garvey got to went through the same process with some other kumbaya Negro like that one right there, along with the help of J. Hoover.
Yep.
Funny how they come in different forms.
Yep, they sure do. Yep, and it's going to keep happening. And this is what I tell people that say, biracial people that might be white passing, what I'm saying? I'm at that sister left. I was going to talk to her. But, certain biracial people, certain black people feel like they not part of the group and they want to kick them out because they too light-skinned and this and that, the third. But I'm saying if they identify full-time as black, they act black, they talk black, they walk black, you know what I'm saying? For their people, then I don't think we should be kicking them out because sometimes it be us. And that's the problem. Some of us think you got to look like the oppressor to be one of them. You don't got to, sometimes it be us too. You don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Start thinking like them, thinking you can visually look at someone and tell whether they for you or not. Nah, we got to keep our eyes open at all times.
That's facts.
But, yeah, let me get to this sister right here. She might have to go. JLB, what's good, sister? Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Hi, yeah. I was not trying to come on live. I was just trying to give y'all some support and say keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
That's all. I hope y'all have a blessed night. You're welcome.
Ashe. Thank you.
Thank
y'all for the love, man. I really appreciate that. People showing love. I be getting DMs from y'all, man. Thank y'all. Y'all know that I be getting the hate too. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, isn't it kind of funny? These be the same people that coming up in your chat and slowly trying to defend that shit. But the next thing you know, their grandparents are still around that was throwing rocks at Ruby Bridges in the 60s or the 50s. They're still alive. They're alive and well.
They be in the pictures, in the background of the pictures.
Hey, just as how Jerry Jones is still alive and well. And he black man got exposed recently in the picture.
Yep.
And that was not long ago.
Right. And he an owner of a football team of mostly black men.
Yeah. The most dominant Negroes on that squad. And the funny thing is our NFL players start wearing masks is because of a black man. Why the NFL literally started inventing masks.
Crazy.
Funny thing.
Right.
It's sad, man. Shit's just kind of crazy out here. But you see, I always say this, man. These folks, they know who to shuffle their cards with. They know who to play with. I even said in my workplace recently when me and a brother, we were talking, and one of them happened to got involved in conversation. And I literally, the ancestors just pretty much got provoked, and I got to say, hey, listen, I say some shit, but I don't want to get alive. You know what I'm saying? Shut down.
Yeah.
But he was like, yo, chill. I'm like, whoa, hold on now. I just calmly said this. It is not our position to be teaching these folks. They know what's going on and they know what they're doing. It's not our job to be doing none of that shit. So
Right.
I understand where you're coming from because of the old HR, this and that third. Yes, I get that. But listen, I'm one of them niggas. I don't let these folks lie like that. Because
Yeah, I hear that.
Because I'm a man. I make up with knowledge. You gonna get schooled. Class is in session. Just that simple. But then again, I will say it's not our position to be teaching.
Right. That's
You know
why.
what I'm
That's
saying?
why I was trying to tell that woman right there. Like, she thinks I'm talking to her, but I'm talking to y'all, and she's just here as a prop to help me facilitate a conversation.
Hit
Cause
dogs holler, man.
you
Hit
feel me?
dogs
Like, I
always
can't
holler.
sit up here and talk to myself, but she gonna bring up some dumb shit, and then I'm gonna be able to talk to
Yeah,
y'all
you know
and
that. You
show
know the
y'all
game,
how
bro.
to dismantle that, unpack that mayonnaise that she dishing out. And not this sister right here. I'm talking about the
I
Becky that
know.
was here before. Yeah, but
I was
you know what I'm saying?
I was in the box. I
Yeah,
was in the audience.
yeah. So that's what that is. That's why I tell her that this is a show. This ain't me talking to you. We having a discussion, but I'm talking to y'all.
And
But
the microaggression too is kind of crazy.
yeah, she said I
God
was
damn.
aggressive. That was wild.
God damn. Whenever we too passionate, they get scared. Just
Yeah.
by being passionate. Whenever we
Hmm.
get angry, it's the same result.
And that's the power a white woman has over black men. That's why we gotta be careful. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be careful because that's the power that they have. They can at any moment say that you're aggressive. When the police get here, all of a sudden they can say, "Oh, I'm scared of him," and then you going away in cuffs, guaranteed.
Yep.
That's how
Yep.
that is.
That's facts. Sad
Yep.
reality out here.
Right.
But they be using the good little kumbaya Negroes right behind you as a shield. Oh, I
Yep.
got black
Yep.
friends. Yeah, like those ones right there. Not me.
Right. Yep.
Not me and cats like you out here. That will
Hmm.
suddenly like will put them back right in their place.
Yep.
Even my quote unquote white friends, when they try to say some sucker shit, they get put right back in their place. They know I don't give a shit. They just know me personally, like, yo, Shaq don't fuck around. They know
Yeah.
who to fuck around with.
Yeah.
They be saying some shit. They be saying some shit sometime and try to pull up the I'm just no you don't try that shit right here. You just want to see
Hmm.
my reaction and you get my reaction right now. So what's up? You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy out here, man. You gotta know how to play
It's
the.
crazy. I know,
I
man.
tell my baby moms, you gotta know how to play that game out here. You gotta know how to play that kind of game. Because when they
Hmm.
know that when they know that you know their game, they like, like shocked, how this nigga know this shit? Like, no, we know what's good. It's just that you don't
Hmm.
expect some of us to know what's at it.
Yeah.
Because most of them, not just most of them, all of them just collectively see us as dumb, stupid, and slow. We don't know shit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't know
Yep.
shit. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what they think, and then they come up here and find out I read. I
Yeah,
read
by
a
their
lot.
default.
Hmm.
By
Well,
their
y'all,
default.
I'm about to step down, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the gifts. I'm about to head out. I gotta go to sleep. I
No
work
worries,
in the
brother.
morning. I appreciate you, brother.
Man,
Thank you,
Man,
Speak.
y'all
Jesus
stay
be with you.
black. Appreciate your blackness and stay away from napkin people. Goddamn.
Stay away from them napkins, man. That's a
Oh,
word.
big time.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too, sister. One love. Thanks for adding value to the show, and appreciate you. D notification bell so you know when I go live. And
And
I
y'all don't
also
forget
go
to
ahead.
hop in that tub before you hop in black business. Don't forget to tap.
I heard that. And also if you want to catch a replay of tonight's live, I post all my replays channel and you'll be able to see what's going on. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the gifts, man. If any of y'all going live, please send me your lives, man.